Okay, we're live. Storm King's Thunder, chapter 23. Tonight, as I said, Tim's not going to be joining us, so Serendial will be out of the action for a bit, but we'll get into that later. For a summary of last time, you guys found yourselves in the sewers beneath Yarder. You were
Sewers.
investigating the disappearance of some of the noblemen in town, and you had encountered a woman named Lady Italia, who had said that the person or whatever it was responsible for these disappearances was someone named Usith, and Usith had his base in the sewers beneath the Yarder. So after gearing up, you guys descended, and after doing a bit of exploration and killing a roper, you found yourself face to face with some fish people, some Sahagan. So you got into a nice scrap with them. They were defeated without too much difficulty. After defeating them, you explore a little bit more around the chamber you were immediately in. You found a side room where there were some levers and wheels that you figured out controlled the water flow in and out of the sewer. You also got attacked by some gray ooze, which was kind of nasty, damaged some of your gear. And you also found a magically trapped grate, which appeared to lead to a lower level. So once you got past that, an iron rung ladder led you down to a lower chamber, which was mostly filled with water, with a few more control wheels on the walkway around the edge. And in the middle of the room was a cowled humanoid who greeted you and introduced himself as Usith. Um, he tried to convince you guys to kind of come nearer to him, but you didn't trust him one little bit. Possibly because half of you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Might have been a
Who the hell are
factor.
you talking to?
So those of you who did see him as you approached, he made some sort of signal, and these two creatures that looked kind of like demonic mermen climbed out of the water, and they actually turned these control wheels on the walkway, which started to cause the chamber to fill with water. And at that point, combat was joined. Some of you guys fought the cowled figure Usith, who seemed to be taking a lot of hits while casting relatively low damage offensive spells. Some of the other party members, you guys managed to gang up on or it wasn't gang up, one at a time. You took out the two mermen and managed to stop the flow of the water into the chamber just as it had started to get to the point where some of you might start getting submerged. You managed to find some alternative valves on the walkway down the center of the chamber that would open the drains to this room, and that allowed the water to start flowing back out and lowering again. And while you were doing all this, it became pretty obvious that something else was in the water there with you, because occasionally it would attack some of you guys as you did. You all had water walking and water breathing going. So you were just kind of skittering over the top of this water, but something beneath the water was actually reaching up and either attacking you or trying to pull you in with these big waves. And at one point, Mirror even got completely mentally dominated by something and wound up attacking Groot and doing some damage to Groot. But it's eventually you managed to defeat Usith, and he just kind of almost dissolved in like smoke. And once the water was cleared out, you didn't find any trace of whatever had been in the water itself. So you're not quite sure what had been going on there. But you did find a side room within which you located all the belongings of the nobleman who had been abducted, including the amulet that you had been looking for, was the Lord Arton's family, the Rosolio family's um,
Heirloom.
heirloom crest, exactly. So that pretty much seemed to signify success for your objective. So you climbed back up to the surface. Didn't find any trace of the Lady Italia there once you got to the top, and you weren't terribly shocked at that. So you went on back to the manor and delivered the amulet. The Lady Rosolio was definitely very grateful for its return, but she was a little less happy that the Lord Arton had apparently suffered a relapse in whatever disease he had contracted. But fortunately, the town clergy happened to be able to cure him, so all was well. And you guys got your reward, and yeah, you pretty much wrapped up most of your business in Yarder. So you started to make preparations to make your departure via the teleportation circles, and that's where we'll pick it up.
Paul, I know you shared your sequence of events, but you forgot about the part in the sewer where we found the giant rat and the bipedal turtles with martial weaponry.
Yeah, I had the pizza. I
Right.
forgot the pizza.
that other faction with Donatello,
Yeah,
Raphael.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you forgot about them.
Yeah, I wonder what faction they would be part of. Not the Zentarum, anyway.
No.
So let me move you guys over to the Yarder map. You are currently, actually, you're not where your token is. You are at the manor, I would presume, because that's kind of where you were staying. So you would actually
Stately Wayne Manor. Yes.
be over on.
I think we needed to rest, if I remember. I mean, I don't have any spells.
Yeah,
so
I don't think
assumed
you
we
guys had
wanted
taken
to-
a long rest, or you had planned to anyway
Yes.
before you departed. So if you want
Right.
to do that, spend the night. Again, you're still welcome at the Rosolia Manor if you want to stay there.
Sure, why not? She loves us.
Yeah, she tolerates you.
Yeah.
Comed's
We
good
got her
buddies with you though. He
back.
thinks you're pretty cool for bringing back the amulet and taking care of whatever that threat was, and he wished he could have come with you though. He would have had fun. But anyway, so you guys can take a long
we tell him
rest.
all about it, so he can live vicariously. We tell him all about it, so he can imagine that he was there with us.
He seems suitably
He
impressed.
didn't want to drink the water.
Mm.
Trust us.
Yeah, in fact, mentioning that, Serendiel seems to have possibly swallowed some of that water at some point during your combat, because he just spends all night on the John and like, oh.
Well, I see we're really close to the wall, so he's probably on the top of the wall, just
Yarking over the
being-
side into the cemetery. Yeah, he's basically if you guys go somewhere, he'll follow you, but he's not going to be participating in all too much. And anytime you talk to him, he's just going to be like, so. But you
Can
guys
I
do
offer
get the
you a leg of roast beast there, Serendiel?
Yeah. How about a nice dirty or greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?
Right.
So anyway, long rest can be taken by all of you guys, so you can get back your hit points and spells and whatnot. Morning dawns, and you guys are free to do whatever you like.
Well, are we ready to teleport? Does anyone have any reason we should stay in town?
I think we did all the quests. My quest log is clear, right?
Yeah.
I hit J and I don't see anything in my log, so
No
yes, I
new
think I'm
passersby with little blinking above their heads or anything. Yeah.
yes, I think we're good.
Okay. So then you make you ready for your preparation to leave. You gather up all your stuff and depart the Rosolio Manor for the villa of the Kolbaz, is the gentleman who maintains the teleportation circle in Yarder. And his villa is pretty close, so you don't have a long walk at all. We'll
And
say
we're ultimately trying to get to Silvery Moon, are we not?
well, the party had
Yes.
briefly made
Or
some
was it
discussions.
Everland?
Well, the teleportation, that circle that he was going to take you to, was Everland. Well, I guess backing up a
Okay.
few steps,
Yeah.
when you were in Tribor, the lady, was it Durastra? I can't remember her name now. Durathra.
Yeah.
Durathra.
Yeah.
She specifically had a contact in Everland that she
Okay.
said you should
Yep.
go see, because she knew him. She gave you the seal
Yep.
of Tribor to present to him, and that would effectively give you access to it. And plus, the Harper's network headquarters is in Everland, where the teleportation circles, where it goes.
Okay.
Moongleam Tower.
Yep. Just want to
Moongleam Tower is the headquarters of the Harpers, and that's where you guys are going to be teleporting to. In fact,
Yeah.
the when you get to
You need
Cold,
to buy a buy a season pass for this thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, the Kolbaz says that you did a favor for him by getting that devastation orb, for which again he thanks you
Yep.
profusely. In fact, he says that that thing was too dangerous. I got rid of it. I sent it off to the Harpers. I don't want it around my villa. But he, since you did that favor for him, that basically granted you like a one-time use by
Yeah.
presenting the seal and everything to what's his name now? The contact is God, all these names. It's similar. It's Crowan. Kolbaz is the guy in the order. Crowan is
Crowan Valhara.
yes, Crowan Valhara.
I
He
found
is
it.
the Archmage of the Moongleam Tower, and he's the one that knows Darathra and will get you permanent access. I mean, it helps.
Nice.
Samril's also a member of the Harpers, so he would at the very least have very little trouble. But based on what you guys have done, you guys feel pretty confident you'll be able to get permanent access to it. And then from there,
Sweet.
you had thought of maybe going on to Silvery Moon, around the vicinity of
Mhm.
which you'd heard of like some giant slaying weapons and other
Yes.
quests.
Yes.
So, then if you guys make your way to Kolbaz's villa, it's, we'll say, probably close to maybe 10 in the morning, thereabouts, unless you want to leave super early. He motions you inside the villa and walks you into the interior. First time you've been in the interior. It's a pretty rundown looking building. On the inside, though, is once you get beyond the antechambers, there's this walled garden, which actually looks quite nice and ornate. You see like fountains that are actually working, lots of exotic plants, and lots of birds flying around that look of an exotic nature. And he explains to you that, this is all an illusion. It's actually, they bought that property super cheap because it was condemned, and it actually had been the site of some kind of it used to be like a temple or something, and some zombies rose out of it or something. Anyway, the place was completely demolished and destroyed. So the Harpers bought it, and they use it for the secret teleportation circle in Yarder. And he just basically casts an illusion every day to maintain this garden to make it look less suspicious.
Nice.
So he leads you through this garden and explains that he sent word ahead to Crow and Valharo that you'll be arriving, and that the destination of the teleportation circle will be in Moonbeam Tower itself, the top floor of one of the towers, and that there should be a Harper there ready and waiting for you when you arrive.
Cool.
So if you don't have anything else to do before you leave, he leads you to the center of this garden. There is a raised 15-foot circular platform, which looks like it has some sort of an inscribed symbol on it, which, Samriel, you actually recognize as a symbol of the Harpers. And it's surrounded by all other arcane symbols around it. So it's basically kind of a looks like a teleportation type circle. Kolbaz instructs you guys to stand in the circle while he activates it. And he does warn you that you shouldn't breach the circle once the process begins, and that it'll take some time to warm up. So he starts chanting an incantation.
Well,
This
Before
confounded
we-
transporter, I'm not going on this thing having to scramble my DNA.
before we go, I was gonna ask if he needed anything, if he needed any gold to keep up what he's doing here in town.
Oh,
Or
no.
if he's good.
He
He has all the supplies he needs.
Oh yeah. The Harpers keep him
Okay.
pretty well supplied. He thanks you for your generosity, but
Okay.
it's he's set. He wouldn't have
Perfect.
any other lifestyle than what he's got right now. So, and like
Perfect.
the Harpers do, give him cost of living. He has enough to keep him in, spirits and girls or whatever else he might want along the side. There's plenty of brothels, I'm sure, in Yerder. So anyways, so if there's nothing else.
Ooh, before we go,
Oh, sure. Yep.
Where are these brothels?
He starts chanting an incantation, and you guys start to feel some arcane energy building up around you. And there's this kind of a growing thrumming noise that seems to come from within each one of you, in your chest almost. Kind of like it's feeling a really deep subwoofer going by. This actually goes on for about 9 minutes or so. Kolbez keeps on chanting, and you can see that the inscription within the circle that you're standing actually is starting to kind of glow as this thing powers up. And eventually, Kolbez stops chanting and says that the circle's almost ready and will transport you in about a minute. He then says, "Yep, I better stand back. I don't want to get caught up in this." He stands back a little bit, and the thrumming kind of reaches a crescendo, and then you guys are blinded by a bright flash of arcane energy. You feel this kind of weird, stretchy, pulley sensation, almost kind of like you're being slingshotted through space, even though everything's in this complete bright light. Then, you feel like you kind of slap yourself back together. The light winks out, and you find yourself someplace else. You are
Baldry's going, righteous, righteous, right way, dude. Ah!
And Serendial is just vomiting in the corner.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure the subwoofer.
After all of this.
Dave, do you remember when we were growing up and we got drunk on that raspberry schnapps and orange juice, and I got like super sick, and then you jumped on your drums and started whamming on the toms, and then I threw up all over your pool table?
Right by my bass drum.
Exactly. That's exactly what this is like. This thrumming sensation. So you probably he probably threw up and half of it teleported with you and half of it was left behind.
Right.
Backsplash.
So anyway, you guys find yourself in another circle, which is actually in a circular stone chamber with a domed roof. It's like I said, there's actually another circle surrounding you, about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than the one that you saw in the garden. It also has an inscription with arcane symbols and the Harper logo, which is kind of gleaming but starting to fade as it's maybe still carrying some of this residual arcane energy. The chamber that you're in doesn't have any windows in it, so it's kind of dark in here, but there are lit torches placed at intervals on the wall, so you can kind of see, and they cast reflections on the smooth tiled floor. You can see otherwise the room is pretty much empty except for a single door in one of the curved walls. And I guess, why don't you guys make a perception check?
There's no person there?
Wow.
Groot and I are on it.
I'm not going to roll for Serendial because he's too busy puking.
He didn't notice anything.
Shit.
Yeah, Mirror, you're still a little discombobulated by this transport.
Yeah.
But the rest of you guys can kind of faintly make out, seeming to come from on the other side of the door, this kind of a low droning sound. And Groot and Valdry, in addition, you guys actually do spot someone else in the room, although someone is a stretch. You actually see two sets of yellow eyes in the shadows near the edge of the room, and they're about maybe knee height looking at you.
Knee height.
To confirm, I don't notice that, correct?
Samuel, you do not.
Okay.
I say to the party, hey guys, we're not alone in here.
But yeah, there's 5 of us.
Yeah, but there's two sets of yellow eyes, and I kind of point in the general direction where I see them.
No.
I have no idea what they are, but something's there.
I just say someone was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
He said
Hey,
that there would
hey,
be
Harper
a Harper.
dude.
Hello, Who are you?
There's no reply
Fail.
from the darkness.
Smell
So
the
with
darkness.
dark
What
vision, are
kind
we
of
able
what kind
to
of so is it?
make
Would you
it
say it's dim light in here
Yes.
at this point?
We all
Uh,
have dark vision though.
Yes, you have dark vision, but it's still dimly lit. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's a larger circular chamber, so
I am going to cast the light cantrip.
Oh.
I know.
I was gonna like light a candle, but that works too.
yeah, light would be basically kind of the equivalent of a torch, if I recall correctly. Maybe a little bit more. I'd have to look it up.
It's pretty similar to
20-foot
torch.
radius.
Yeah, that sounds about. Oh,
And dim light for an additional 20. So bright light for 20 feet, and then dim for another 20.
yeah, so if you wanted to approach that area, you could illuminate it with regular light, bright light.
You can cast it on a point or no? Do you have to cast it on like an item?
It's a touch
On an
spell.
item,
Oh, it's a touch. Okay.
on an object. Yeah. So I pull out something from my bag, like what do I have?
Mace.
I have
Well,
a
yeah.
candle. You want to
I can-
cast
I'll-
it on a candle?
I'll cast it on the end of my warhammer.
There you go.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Just
And
to,
then
to
I'll-
note, not that I'm suggesting anything to you guys in terms of strategy or anything, but unlike the silence spell, you could cast light on an object and it would stay on the object. It's not a fixed point in space like silence
yeah.
now is. It is actually on an object, so you could like cast it on something and then throw the object.
So if you cast it on your mace and we walk over, that'd be good
I'm
enough.
not
unless
tossing
you're-
away my mace. I love that thing.
Well, like I said,
How
I have
about a
candles.
coin?
You want to cast it on
Yeah.
a candle and throw that over there?
I
Like,
got a copper piece.
Sure. Well, yeah, I can do that. I'll do it on a copper piece, and then I will toss it in the direction of the yellow eyes.
Okay, go ahead and make a ranged attack roll. Basically unproficient, unless you're not proficient in
Please
coin
get-
tossing. So
please get a 1.
How about this
No, I am not
10,000
proficient in
gold piece gem?
range
You can
attack.
toss it
How
on
would
that.
you do that?
just it basically would be your
Just a D20.
your
just
dex.
roll a
It'd be
D20.
a dex check.
And then you could add your dex.
Oh, Dex. Okay.
You probably don't have much dex, though, I imagine.
Not really, but we'll give it a try.
Oh,
Oh, look
nice.
at
Yeah,
that!
it is a 0.
There you go.
Baldry wins the coin toss. Yeah, so you
Right. Right between the eyes.
yeah, basically actually literally you
Ow!
yeah, you peg it right off in that direction and it flies straight and true and lands pretty much between the two sets of eyes. What it illuminates is actually two cats that
Ah,
are sitting
yeah.
there and looking at you. And in the bright light now you can see not only are they cats, they appear to have wings. Just like
Oh.
Really?
one of your companions,
Right.
who I forgot to
Relics,
mention, but you
relics.
definitely, I'm assuming you brought relics with you from the manor.
Yeah,
Oh,
where the hell
right.
is Relics?
Yeah.
Yeah, good old relics.
So
Oh.
yeah, relics looks kind of, oh, okay.
Are those your friends, relics?
Same
or your
size,
family?
or are these like bigger ones?
The same size. Yeah, the size of
Okay.
like a house cat.
Okay.
And
Yo, Samroll, step up. This is your place. Talk
Well,
to the
so-
cats. Tell them that we're expected, or someone should be expecting us here.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look around and see if I can see a door based on that light.
yeah, well, you could see one
There's-
before.
There
There
was
was
a door.
there was a single door.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
that's the
Well, so
direction
I'm
from
just
which
gonna go-
this kind of low droning noise seems to
Yeah.
be coming from.
So I'm gonna assume that the cats have nothing to do with the person who is waiting for us. I'll just go to the door and go to open it.
And then they scratch your eyes out.
No, the cats don't. Yeah, they don't seem to react to
Nice.
they are watching you, but they don't react in any way.
They
to
don't
you.
like circle his legs and rub their face up on him. Stick their butt in his face.
The door you approach, it looks like a normal door. When you touch it, not when you touch it, but when you take the handle and try to pull it, though, it does appear to be firmly locked in place.
Hmm.
I'm gonna knock on the door. Hey,
Loudly, quietly.
loudly.
Okay.
I mean, he said that he he talked to them already and sent word that we were coming. So I imagine there should be someone here expecting us.
Excuse me.
One would think, hopefully.
I mean, that's what in my head, that's what I'm expecting, is that someone's here knowing we're coming.
So as you basically start hammering on the door and saying, "Hey, let us
Yeah.
out of here! Anybody there?" The sound,
Hey.
the droning sound, which now you're close enough to hear, it actually sounded like snoring. Kind of goes,
Oh.
and then there you hear this
So
kind of a shuffling thud on the other side of the door. Then some footsteps approach, and the door actually kind of briefly glows a little bit, and then it opens up, and you see a human man standing on the other side of the door. He's kind of like owlishly blinking at you, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you here already?"
I take it you're Crowan?
No. Actually, I'm not Crowan. My name is Fluin. I was instructed to wait here for you. I must have dozed off. I'm so sorry. 1,000 apologies.
Not a problem.
Won't you come in, please, or come out, or through here, please?
Yeah, anywhere other than this dark room. Sounds great.
So yeah, he leads you through the door, and it joins up with what looks like another kind of wide circular area, but this is actually a hallway. It's kind of a circular hallway that seems to be essentially circumferencing an area about the same size as the room chamber you were just in. But this actually is a hallway because it has another wall in which are set other doors, and it curves basically out of sight in either direction. And this hallway actually has windows that you can look out, and you can see daylight outside. So it's much better lit in here. And he again apologizes and says that yes, let me go and let me go and fetch Crone for you. And
there appears to have been two cats, or what are they called?
Tressum.
There's a name.
Tressum.
Yes. Oh,
Tressums, locked in there as well. Yeah, I don't know if
they got in
they
here.
were supposed to be locked in there, but
Well, they get everywhere. Master Curlin is especially fond of Tressum, as you'll soon find out. But in any case, I will go and get him now. If you don't mind, if not mentioning that I was sleeping just now, I really appreciate it. And anyway,
yeah,
back in a flash, and he scuttles off around the curve, and you hear him kind of going down some steps.
Crap.
So he you guys are left
I
alone
was
in
to
this
say,
hallway.
while he scuttles off, am I able to check some of the other doors? And I just want to see if they're all locked or.
No, you you kind of make a kind of a circumnavigation. Look, I mean, this tower is well, you assume that you're in Moongleam Tower, which Samuel, you would know enough about Moongleam Tower in its general description to know that it is actually 4 separate towers that are kind of all connected to each other. They're made of like jet black stone, and there's a moat, a dry moat surrounding it, which you guys can actually verify if you look out the windows. You can see you're some ways up. You can't see any of the other towers because the windows are obviously facing away from the building. But you can see there's this kind of a dry moat surrounding it, and then there's kind of a wooded grove on the other side of that, and then beyond that is indeed the city of Everland. Did I say Yarder before? It's Everland, sorry.
Yeah, we're in Everland. Yep.
Everland.
So
Everlund.
yeah, and you know Samuel again because you are Harper, the Moongleam. Well, I put the party token where Moongleam Tower is located. So that's basically where you are. It appears you may be looking south because you can see in the distance the snaking river flowing through, and some of the buildings on the other side and the wall in the distance. But the other doors in this hallway, none of them appear to be locked like the one you just came from, which appears to be connected. The room you were just in looks like it was a topmost room to one of the other towers, and this area you are in now is one of the other towers. And all the rooms all the doors look like they open, and when you open them up, they're dark inside, but it doesn't look like there's anything in there but mundane storage.
Okay, I was just curious if there was any other teleportation rooms or anything is kind of what I was looking for. I'm not looking to take anything or looking for anything in particular. Just curious.
Sure.
Sure, he's not. He's casing the joint
Yeah.
already.
No,
I mean, I've never been here before, but I've heard of the place, so I'm just curious. I'm looking for more information.
yeah. Well,
Just
you
out
would
of
be
pure
very naturally
curiosity.
curious. I mean, even though you're a Harper, not a lot of people actually get into Moongleam Tower. It is, like I said, actually the base of the Harpers, and generally only people that have actual business with the Harpers and are invited in get to see the inside of it. So yeah, this is kind of a cool trip for you to be able to actually see this. The architecture is very impressive. Obviously, what you've seen of it so far, anyway.
Yeah.
But there is no obvious other teleportation, at least nothing inscribed on the floor that you can see in any of these other rooms. And yeah, they didn't mention that there being any other teleportation area.
Do I know much about the teleportation? Like, can you teleport? Like, is that teleportation circle connected with Yarder and you can only teleport back and forth, or can you teleport from that circle to other places as well?
From what you know, you don't know too many details other than it was referred to as a network, which would seem to imply that there are multiple nodes to the network. And
Yeah.
In fact, I think that Darathra may have mentioned that to you. She said there may be other
Mhm.
nodes that you could get in besides Everland and Yarder. But yeah, as far as where they all are or what, how they connect up, you have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, because I think she said that there are other ones, and I'm curious, yeah, if you can teleport to all of them from any circle, or if they're only connected like one to one kind of thing.
Yeah, at this
So
point,
I might ask that. I'm just curious. Maybe I'll ask Crowan.
are any of you other guys going to do anything while you're waiting?
Nope, just hanging out. I'm, praying to my deity, just being all calm and reserved and just resting. That's
I'm
all.
gonna pet my kitty.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, the Tressum actually do eventually come out of the room, and they kind of walk over towards you guys and sit down and keep looking at you. And Rilix kind of saunters over, kind of curiously.
Yeah, I'll put her down. Yep.
Yeah, sniffs her, and they don't seem to react too much to her presence. And after a while, she stops sniffing him and comes back.
Right.
It isn't like they start playing or anything like that. But after a few minutes more, Fluin returns with what you would assume to be Crowan Valharo. He's an older gentleman. He's dressed in very good-looking robes. From what you know of him, Samuel, he is an archmage, so pretty damn powerful in terms of magical abilities. And he in turn has his own entourage of 4 more Tressum, which are following him. They're all kind of like walking along behind him. And as soon as he sees you guys, he greets you warmly. Welcome to Moongleam Tower. I'd received advance word of your arrival, and Kolbez said that you would be arriving sometime today, likely. So I trust the journey was okay, no ill effects. And at that point, Serenity goes, "Whoa!"
He was having trouble before
we got
journey,
the-
so
yeah,
don't,
That's
don't
a
worry
relief.
about that.
Some people do have a little bit of trouble adjusting to the teleportation side effects, but after a while, it'll become. It's like riding. We don't have bikes.
Yeah.
It's like riding a horse.
Riding a
Riding
cart.
a wereweasel. I don't know, something.
Exactly. But in any case, as I wanted to welcome you to the Moongleam Tower, and also thank you all once again for your aid in securing the Devastation Orb. Kolbez sent that along to us, and we have it under wraps and being studied. So it's in a nice, safe place in our vaults beneath the tower. But I also wanted to say congratulations on the job that you did helping to defend Tribor. I received word from Darathra that you would be coming, and it sounds like, based on her description, that you were quite the heroes in terms of fending off some nasty sounding fire giants, if I heard correctly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we rock.
Yeah, there was. We did a good job saving as many lives as we could that day. It was that
Yes.
was a
So
tough battle.
yes, fire giants are not to be contended with, and we've definitely been seeing our share of activity, which has grown particularly worrisome. But in the meantime, what I would like to do, if as a formality, if you could show the seal of Tribor that Darathra said that she gave you, we can verify that you are who you say you are, and we can proceed on to business as we speak.
I'll show him both of the seals, the seal of Tribor and my Harper seal.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
let
So
him know.
he says, I actually did see your emblem. I just wanted to, we can't be too sure, and I didn't want to insult you
No.
by casting a spell to determine who you guys said you were.
Understandable.
It's more formality than anything else. So now that that is behind us, welcome again, once again. And I would like to extend to you the hospitality as we have here at Moongleam Tower, and would like to invite you to not only spend the night here and take some rest, but also to join us for dinner this evening. The Moon Lord would like a few words with you. Apparently, I'm not the only one that has heard about your deeds, and she has some concerns, especially surrounding the activity of the giants, that she would like to be informed about.
Who is the Moon Lord?
Moon Lord Daviana. God, these names. Daviana Yalranas. Daviana Yalranas. I'm going to call her Daviana.
Okay.
Daviana, darling.
Daviana, darling. Yes, she will be joining us along with several of our acolytes, including Floan here. Yes, there'll be fine dining and chance for you to rest and mingle. And actually, something that I might. He thinks for a second. You seem like a trustworthy lot. I've obviously already ascertained your credentials, so I believe I can trust you after having known Darathra as long as I have. But there's something that perhaps you could do for me while you're staying here. There's somewhat of a vexing problem I've been trying to solve, and I suspect a outside perspective may assist in it.
Well, we will
Absolutely.
certainly do whatever we can to assist.
I've had a suspicion now for some time that Moongleam Tower may in fact have been infiltrated by someone or something. Who it might be or why, I don't know. Divination magic in the tower is very hit and miss. The entire tower itself radiates some magical auras, so I've not been able to see if there's anyone that has been using magic to conceal themselves, but there's been many strange occurrences recently. Some of the artifacts in the vaults have gone missing, and some people would say things and then later insist that they had no memory of ever saying that thing. So in any case, I'm leery of tipping the hand of whomever has infiltrated this place. And I'm thinking this dinner tonight would be a prime opportunity for you to subtly inquire, if not directly, but perhaps gain some insight into some of the other attendees.
I assume that means you trust Floen here, as you're talking about that in front of him. So,
Implicitly.
he is not the infiltrator.
I trust Floen.
We can safely say.
Walter goes, confess!
Where
Confess!
are you?
No,
I
Confess or
we
die!
we can trust that he is not. His hospitality was excellent upon our arrival, but you know,
You see an extreme
only
look
known
of
him for a few
gratitude
minutes.
across Floan's face as you say that.
Baldur just kind of looks at the ceiling. Yeah, this is gorgeous in here. Fantastic architecture.
Well, any assistance that you could provide, again, I'm pushing for subtlety here. My primary concern is that I do not wish Moonlord Daviana to think that any of us are incompetent in the defense of this tower. However, sometimes subtlety is. She is, unlike her predecessor, a knight rather than our former Moon Lord, Ilrun Shadowlin, was a ranger. He departed several years ago to focus his efforts on the moon stars. But in any case, Daviana is, I would say, a bit more straightforward, perhaps more martial in her approach. So sometimes the subtleties of magic aren't as. Let's just say that sometimes she thinks a little bit differently than I do. So I would just ask that you not tip her hand in any way. I don't necessarily suspect her, but at the same time, I don't want it advertised that we've got intruders or spies or anything might be untoward, at least until I've confirmed what and gotten to the bottom of what's going on here.
Okay.
But for this, I would definitely be eternally grateful, and certainly either way, the entire party will have permanent use of the teleportation circle as you would need. And oh, that reminds me, I have this for you. And he reaches into his robe and pulls out a scroll, parchment, I should say, that he hands over to you guys.
Excuse me while I whip this
Excuse
out.
me while I whip this out. Where are the
Oh
bleeding
my!
Ah,
I had this handy.
Your faints.
Hang on, I gotta scroll down here. Oh, those are the wrong handouts. No wonder. This
I'll take those
adventure
two.
is so freaking big.
Speaking of the teleportation, I'm curious. I've heard that there's a network. How are you able to teleport to anywhere within the network from the teleportation circle? Or
If you can give me just a second, I'll answer your question with this scroll that I'm
oh,
about
I
to
didn't
hand
know
you.
if that was something.
please,
you
please,
just knew.
please hold.
He's buffering.
I am buffering, right? The DM is actually buffering. It's not.
Where's the dial-up tones?
Yeah.
Oh, for frack's sake, where is this thing?
Boing, boing, boing.
I had this nice and handy, and now I can't find it. Give me a second.
Boing, boing, boing.
You've got mail. I miss that. I miss those days.
God, I don't.
Heck no.
I meant the AOL chat rooms.
I do miss those.
I do.
AOL Instant Messenger and stuff. Those are fun.
I had a lot of
Here.
friends from all over on that.
What about CompuServe?
Yep.
Going
CompuServe,
way back.
IRC.
This is ridiculous. I had it here and I can't find it now. Okay. Anyway, what he hands you is a parchment that actually shows multiple inscribed circles, detailing all of the teleportation locations. And
Stargate map.
Sweet.
there are actually. Here we go. Here we go. I found it. It's not a handout. No wonder. I think this is safe to see. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. There we go.
So it actually has multiple. There are basically 6 different nodes in the teleportation network. In addition to Everland itself and Yarder.
Yarder.
There's also Mirabar, Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and
Huh. That could come in handy.
I think that,
Yeah.
yep.
That could come in and save a whole lot of time.
Be able to get from Everland down to Waterdeep
Yeah, no
quickly.
Oh,
shit.
That would
Loudwater.
save a lot of
Loudwater
time.
is the other one. I knew there was an additional one. So anyway, you can go from any one of the nodes to any other of the nodes via the circle. There's always a Harper agent. Usually, it's Moongleam Castle is the only place where it's kind of central to the Harpers. All the others, they have some sort of a fronted location that's carefully hidden from. So obviously, they don't want people outside the Harper network to be actually using them. But there's always a Harper agent that is on call and ready to assist. It generally can be initiated from one direction. You don't need both parties participating to like charge things up, but it needs to be initiated by someone at the side you're leaving. But as long as you carry that seal, or this parchment, I should say, this will grant you access.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So yes, other than that, that's all I had for you immediately. If you'd like, I can show you to your chambers and you can freshen up as at will before dinner
certainly.
this evening. It's already early. If you wish, you
Yep.
can leave the tower and go exploring in Everland if you wish, and come back tonight for dinner. Or if you'd like
Are
to,
we able to glean how long it took to teleport? Was it like, we waited those 10 minutes and you're pretty much instantly there, or did like an amount of time pass during our teleportation?
You aren't sure, actually. Based on if it was not, it felt instantaneous to you, but at the same time it didn't. It almost could have been like there was an infinite amount of time that you spent like between locations, if you will. It's like time just kind of didn't exist while you were teleporting. But the sun doesn't appear to be in a different location in the sky or anything like that. I mean, it looks like late morning to you guys.
Cool. Well, I would like to go in and stroll about the town and see what wares are on offer.
I
Yeah,
knew you were
maybe
gonna say
stop
that.
at some shops and stuff. See if we can find any magic items.
Yes, let's just go down to the ye old corner
Well-
magic shop where all the magic stuff is.
Well, we're in a Harper Tower. They should have they have
Hey,
artifacts.
did,
They should have magic items too, right?
Did Paul just disappear?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Oh, he did. It's his.
He got touched.
He got touched.
That's the new thing. You call it when he has a technical snafu. He says, "Anyone, you done got touched."
Well, so hopefully.
So I asked the man to sorry. I said, yeah, I'd like to have a conversation maybe before or after dinner about the Tressum. I mean, you can see Rilix here. He's got a little story, behind him, and I'd just like to learn more about these creatures.
Oh, certainly. I would love to talk with you. In fact, after I show you to your quarters, you can join me in my study, and we can have as long a conversation as you want. I don't have any urgent business at the moment. That well, I can certainly make time for a conversation, especially about Tressum. And there he kind of smiles and pets one of
Get
the.
through that while the rest of the people go into town.
That would be excellent. So yeah, he leads you guys down through one of the inner stairways of this tower. He leads you down past a couple of different levels, and then through another door into one of the other towers, and then down a hallway. And there is apparently, this is kind of like what you could call like a guest wing, if you will, of one of the tower levels. Excuse me, apparently reserved for visiting dignitaries, nobles, or even just other Harper adventurers that have business at the tower. So you each get your own room. The
Sweet.
beds are clean, and the same magic. And Crowan is actually kind of describing this to you like he's a brochure almost. It's like the same magic that actually powers the dry moat, which can actually magically cause it to flood to help defend the tower. Actually, there are these like little nozzles that are coming down out of the wall, and if you wish to have a wash, you can actually just touch these things, and they will start washing you.
Nice.
Is that made by
Oh.
Kohler?
Right.
Yes, that was a mage that developed it was named Herb.
Herb
Herbert
Kohler. Yes.
Kohler.
So definitely feel free to make use of that and freshen up at will. In the meantime, Mirror, if you would like to join me in my study, we can have that conversation. The rest of you,
Yeah.
if you need me, I can be found very easily. Just ask any of the mages or guards in the tower, and they can fetch me as you need. But until then, it was a pleasure meeting all of you, and
Greetings.
I look forward to dinner this evening at 7 p.m.
Super. We will be there.
With that, he
Yeah. Right.
tips his cowl and he kind of motions for you and Brillix if you
Yep.
like to join him.
Yep.
He's still got 4 of the
Everyone.
Tressum with him that are following around.
All
So
right.
Rillix kind of falls
Do
in.
they like weave in and out of his legs so he has trouble like walking, or do
Right.
they actually follow him?
No, they kind of follow him. They don't get underfoot. They're
Okay.
They're highly intelligent.
they are
right?
actually they're intelligent than
Yeah.
a lot of adventurers.
Right.
They have an intelligence of 11.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So I guess first of all, I guess what did the rest of you guys want to do? You said you were going to go into town, maybe do some exploring.
Yeah, I think finding a local tavern for a pint of ale and a little
Yeah,
snack,
I-
since it's going to be a while until dinner. So
I would join you for that.
There are many taverns to choose from.
Does he recommend any taverns if we ask before they?
or establishments.
Well, there's yeah, let me just see. I had a whole list here too, and
I mean, I can meet up with them at a designated spot. I don't think we'd be talking for more than an hour.
right.
Although he probably could talk for more than an hour about them.
No, there's plenty of there are plenty of plenty of places. There's one in particular in Everland. It's actually run by a half orc that is actually kind of a way into the tower, so to speak. Let's see. Taverns. There's the Dreaming Dragon. Oh, what is the name here? I gotta bring it up. This is always such fun running these big adventures that are sandboxy. You get so much information, then you gotta look it all up. Okay, I think it was in Ireland. There we go. It starts with a D. I remember that.
How did that term sandbox ever come to?
Because you can turn a sandbox into anything you want. It's a wide open play space.
And then kick it over to erase it when you don't like what it turned out to be.
We'll be doing that later.
Yeah.
So, this all ties back. Oh, come on.
What'd your PC do to you, Paul?
Nothing.
No, nothing. You just dropped out there for a minute.
Kathy came in and talked to me about her fabric, and she's building
Ah.
a t-shirt quilt.
Ah,
Neat.
Oh. Yeah, my mom has one of those. Those are cool.
Okay, found it. So there's a particular tavern called Danavar's House in Everland. It's run by a one-eyed half-orc named Drawl Thelev. He normally would be the one to see if somebody needed to like get into the tower from outside. If you had been like just say traveling to Everland on foot and wanted an appointment with the tower, that's who you'd talk to. But in any case, he's got tons of great wine and drink, and it's generally a good establishment to go to.
Well, that sounds like the place for us.
So yes, that's his recommendation, and you guys are free to carouse about the town. There's in the center of town is a great big market area here, which pretty much you can get anything at Player's Handbook prices. Anything that's available in the Player's Handbook at normal prices. So if you guys do need to replenish or to resupply anything, feel free to do that. There's also numerous other places you can go to if you need like weapons and other gear.
I'm sick of not having anything ranged, so I actually want to purchase a hand crossbow.
There is actually a really good this isn't in the adventure, but I was reading up on Everland, and one of the guides I saw had a whole breakdown of all these different places that are there, and there was one particular business that has it's extremely well known for their archery supplies, and like their bows are really well made.
Yeah.
So
I want to
I
go
would
there.
like to go there to get a hand crossbow.
Okay.
That sounds terrific.
Yeah, and I would say that it would probably be like maybe 10% higher price there than normal but it would be very high quality. If there was such a thing as masterwork in 5e, that's what that would be.
Yeah.
So while you guys are making ready and to go into the town, Mirror, you meet up with Crowan, and is there something in particular that you wanted to ask about the Tressym, or?
No, I mean, we don't really need to role play this either. I mean, it was just kind of I'd never seen one before, and I tell him the whole story of how she is with me, and the family was killed by the giants and all of that. So the backstory, and how they were my neighbors and whatnot growing up and all of that, and just curious about it because I mean, it seems to want to be with me, so I'm kind of wondering why, and what, it doesn't like fight or anything, so I want to give it a good life, so I don't but I don't know what it needs.
Well, he says that, I mean, Tressym are very, very intelligent, and that's part of why he loves them so much. The Tressym that are in the Moonclean Tower actually arrived from various sources. Some were actually brought in after they were wounded out in the wild. Some actually were brought in by commoners for whom they became a nuisance, and some have actually just wandered in all by themselves. They're much more intelligent than normal cats. Like I said, their intelligence is actually 11. They don't have a spoken language per se, but they people that are not used to.
She definitely understands.
Yeah, people that are not used to them are sometimes a little bit discomfited by them because they can like sit there and stare at you like they're like listening to what you're saying to them or just kind of agreeing. But in a lot of other ways, they do have a lot of the mannerisms of cats where they can be very aloof or like, yeah, big deal, slave, give me my food.
Right.
So, but he's definitely, he really feels a kinship with the Tressym, and he definitely feels proud about being able to, especially those that were brought in wounded, to be able to find a place for them to stay. Although he has noticed that they do seem to prefer the company of other species. When left alone, they don't often play with each other or do things like socially with each other. They seem to genuinely prefer the company of other humanoids or other creatures than themselves. So as
Yeah.
to Relix and what Relix might want, um, he doesn't know. It could be that
Uh,
Relix has formed an attachment to you and considers you essentially an adventuring companion.
I mean, we saved her, you know,
Hmm.
so
And
maybe that's part of it.
yeah, and the Tressum aren't like completely defenseless. I mean, they're just
Right.
like, but at the same time, it's not going to be much more powerful than a house cat in terms of what they can do.
Sure.
They do have wings, so they're able to escape harm a lot easier than a lot of
Yeah.
cats, while still being as
And
adept at
they're
climbing and everything that a cat would be too. They're still very nimble.
and they're and they're definitely smart enough to stay out of harm's way.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They're not going to go rushing
Yeah.
into a big combat situation. So he said he thinks, you know, as long as Relix has chosen to remain with you, you shouldn't feel too worried about him. He she really likely has enough sense to stay out of combat where appropriate. But at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time,
definitely.
yeah, it's he doesn't know. Perhaps Relix has some other reason for staying with you too. But they definitely have found they do definitely form bonds with people. So
Great.
Well, alrighty then.
Thanks for your time.
sure, yeah, he thinks and he
Appreciate
loves talking about Tressum. The rest of you guys, yes, you're able to go around town and do some shopping, do some drinking. Everland is actually quite large. It's like I think about 20,000 people live there.
Mm.
And it's looking around and asking about. There's like 5 different gates. There's a big wall around the city that helps protect it, and you know there's a gate, and then obviously a big river down the center of it, which is the primary source of trade and whatnot. Until recently, Everland was allied with the Lord's Alliance. There are 5 leaders who comprise a city council of elders that get voted in every. Basically, they're replaced every once in a while. In any case, they recently voted in favor of separation from the Lord's Alliance, mainly in a symbolic show of support for the neighboring town of Sundabar. Sundabar, there was recently a great big battle called the War of the Silver Marches, and during that, there was an orc raid that pretty much completely laid waste to Sundabar, and the Lord's Alliance failed to really come to their aid and help them. At least that's the way the dwarves that lived in Sundabar feel. And Everland is kind of sympathetic with them, so to speak, partly because of proximity to them, but also just because of similar attitudes. So, in any case, there's kind of a lot of mixed sentiment about this among the people. Even the council voted. It was like 3 to 2 in favor of separation. So it's kind of like a tense topic in town. But that's presently what's going to happen is that they've decided they're going to leave the Lord's Alliance, and that's kind of what the bulk of gossip that you pick up in terms of overhearing people talking and discussing. Otherwise, though, it's a beautiful city. It's very, there's a lot of green space you can see on the map. Lots of very good parks. The buildings are all in extremely good repair. There are actually tons of taverns that you pass by and other places that you can get just about anything you would want. That's, as I said, you're not going to buy magic items here, but just about anything else that you would want. And
is there an armor? Is there an armory?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay. Might want to go and investigate that.
Can we find the armorer?
So, should we actually just tell you what we want to buy and then add it to our character sheet, or what?
Yeah, I would say.
I want to see how much this costs first.
Right.
I'm thinking about an armor upgrade.
An upgrade of
What
what
are you
kind?
looking for? I have a book.
Personally, I would like to I need to replace my sword because mine was damaged by that gray ooze.
Oh yeah.
So I would like
Forgot about
to,
that.
give my current sword away to a needy person or something, in the street somewhere.
Hold
Hey
still.
kid, you want a sword?
Here,
Right.
you can keep
You know
that.
what I mean? Here.
Yeah. Generally, I guess my point is that you guys, anything you want to buy out of the player's handbook, normal prices, you get half for selling stuff
Yeah.
back.
And then like the
What
Like-
about a damaged sword? Do you get half still?
Yeah, if it's damaged, like I would say that your damaged sword is probably not worth much of anything. No one's gonna buy
Right.
a damaged sword, especially if it's got
Why
like all
would-
pitted metal and everything.
somebody would take it though, right? Like a needy person, or no?
A needy adventurer?
You'd have to be pretty damn needy. No, it's
I'll
actually
just
yeah. It's pretty much. I mean, I'd say that most there aren't a ton of beggars on the streets of Everland. I mean,
Okay.
there's always an underbelly of, I would say underbelly. That's a bad phrasing, but you know what I mean. There's always an under society, so to speak, of the poorer
Yeah.
folk. But as to what use they would have for it, it's not like Waterdeep where
Uh,
there's lots of crime syndicates or anything to.
Alright, this is a basic short sword. I'm just gonna stick it in some random barrel then.
Throw it in a bush.
Yep.
I mean, you would probably be able to get like maybe a gold piece for it.
A normal short sword is 10 gold pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see why.
right.
I mean, they could
Okay.
break down
A
whatever
gold.
parts weren't damaged out of it, for the raw materials. But
sure.
that's about
All right, I'll trade it in then.
okay.
And then you mentioned that like Fletcher's shop.
Yep.
So would arrows from that place do anything special, or are they just more expensive?
They're extremely well made, but they wouldn't. It's not like they have a magical bonus or a bonus to damage or
Right.
something like that to hit or
Okay.
anything. But yes, they're extremely well made and durable, and yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah.
prestige thing. Like each of the arrows has like some initials engraved on it or something. It's
Do they break less in battle, so we're able to pick up more than 50% or something?
well, recovery. I don't see how that would help because that depends on where you fire it.
They're more durable. so
Yeah,
they
I
break
suppose if
less.
they were, to
Mhm.
be possibly damaged less. I don't want to attach too onerous of a bookkeeping commitment
Right,
to,
right.
to
Yeah,
using
yeah.
them, but maybe like once a session, instead of recovering half your arrows, like in one combat, you could recover all your arrows, like one combat session per adventure. Well, actually, I don't know about that because a lot of a lot of adventure sessions are only one combat, but
Yeah, still,
let's say you
I
get
think I'm
recover.
probably
Let's say
gonna
you
buy 'em
recover an
anyway.
extra arrow for each combat session. How about that? Is that simple enough?
Yeah, I like that.
Because there's always one arrow that breaks, and that one didn't break. So
right.
Shoom.
Yeah, I would. I think I'd spend the extra money then, seeing that's my main thing.
they're not discount shop arrows.
Right. No.
I get my arrows
said
from Sears and
everything's-
Roebuck.
You said it's like 10% more, so like a hand crossbow is normally 75 gold. So should I just call it like
80.
83?
You could just you could
whatever,
round it
80.
to 80. Yeah.
Cool.
Picking up a hand crossbow.
Yeah, I need a ranged weapon finally. I'm sick of not having one.
Yeah, they come in handy. How about you, Paul? Any shopping that you need to take care of, or you don't?
I have all that I need.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't generally. Use...
I am my own weapon.
It is true.
That it is. You are definitely very appreciative of the area itself. I mean, for a city this size, especially in this population, they do have a lot of green space where you can tell that they are very cognizant. They deliberately keep it nice and natural. I mean, it's not like just like a flat park where a bunch of people are hanging out and partying. It's a natural wooded area, and And partly because of the Harpers themselves. I mean, obviously their influence extends. They have a big influence here, and that's part of their whole thing is
Holy
preserving
crap.
nature. But yeah, you were definitely very for civilization, which is not normally your big thing. Yeah, it's cool. You can deal. Although you're not. I mean, you're pretty cosmopolitan too. You've been around most of the realms, so it's not like you haven't seen nicer places. But it's a cool spot. So what else?
were you looking at, Valdry?
Oh, I was looking at armor prices. I'm not nearly rich enough to bump up to the next level of medium armor, so we'll have to
Oh,
get paid off a little bit more.
we got party loot too.
Yeah, how much do you need?
Well, I was looking at half plate, which goes for like 750 gold pieces. So that's a lot, and it only bumps my armor class up by 1. So I'm not strong
Yeah.
enough to use any heavy armor. So I'll just stick with what I got. That's fine.
I mean,
All right.
we
you
have
know, I have-
475 gold and 270 silver sitting there, and 1,000
Yeah,
gold
we
piece
got
gems.
we
Like,
got
I have
We got
I have yet to
1,000
spend a
in-
freaking dime in this campaign. So,
yeah, if you want it,
We
get
got
it.
I got
thou-
30
1,000
platinum
in
pieces, I don't
gems.
care.
Yeah, you guys
So-
have been
I've got-
pretty flush with cash
I've got
recently.
100. I've got 100 gold pieces.
Oh, no,
Well,
let's
we
use
have
the party
1,000 in
loot.
gems. Yeah, if you want it.
Buy
Let's
it.
trade trade 8 of those in and get
50
get
gold
50
back.
gold pieces back.
Sure, they can do that. Yeah, for a big ticket
Alright.
item like that, they certainly have no problem like
All right.
taking gems directly
Cool.
and giving you back gold pieces.
Oh,
Alright.
cool. I appreciate it, guys. That's awesome.
I mean, I have 115 gold now after buying those items.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I've spent gold on this whole campaign.
All right, so I'll take 8 of those gems then and buy myself some half plate.
Yeah, and
I'll
we'll let Tim Serendio deal with this at the beginning the next time.
Yeah, or I mean, we can just
Lots to
email
buy.
them.
Yeah, do it offline. right?
Exactly. Like I said, anything in Player's Handbook, you guys can pretty much pick up. Okay, so I found some more details I was looking for here. So the Fletcher, it's actually the Bent Bow Boyer is the name of the archer shop. It's right off the Bell Market. It's known for its ever bright, non-rusting arrowheads, some of which can be enspelled so that they can be magically traced. And those actually, let me just see here. Where's my Player's Handbook at? What's a normal quiver of arrows? I'm thinking these would be.
I think it was 20 gold. 20. Where's my player's handbook? I just had it
That's
up.
exactly what I was just saying.
20 arrows were 1 gold piece for regular arrows.
Yeah, so this would be more like 20 gold for 1 arrowhead, but again, it would be magically traceable. So it'd be basically kind of like a locate item spell.
Wow.
Wait, so there are magical items?
They can
Well, it's
they can
kind-
cast the spell on it. Basically, you buy one of their arrows and they would actually cast a spell on it.
And is that a one-time use thing?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah.
And how far does that locate work?
They don't.
Like, say if I hit a foe and they turn invisible and disappear, could they be traced over a distance?
Give me a second here and look. Let me look up the spell. Locate object. It's basically locate object is what it is.
Okay. 'Cause, yeah,
Object
you're
within
locating
1,000
the
feet of you.
arrowhead. Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's basically the equivalent of locate object, essentially. When you cast it on, once you fire the arrow, and once it hits
Yeah.
something, essentially, the arrowhead itself essentially becomes locate object. Now, if it actually gets pulled out,
Right.
it's,
Yeah,
it's the
you'll still
arrowhead,
find the
not what you
object.
hit with the arrowhead.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna find the object.
Right.
Right. And how much were they?
Let me double check. They don't have a
Whoever
price
was
listed
one-
here, so I'm just pulling this out of my ass. So give me
Yeah,
a second
right.
here.
Yeah.
It's basically a second level spell, and for casting spells in the services. So normally, come on, where is it here? So second level spells generally kind of go for like 50 to 100 gold piece for spellcasting services.
Mhm.
Since it's actually enchants the item, so to speak, until it's, I mean, it's not permanent because it's until you actually fire it.
Right.
So it's like a
used,
one-use item, so to speak, but it's also kind of like a spell casting service, so it's not as expensive.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let's just say 50 gold. That seems reasonable to me.
Each. Okay.
Yeah, per arrowhead that you want this ability on.
All right. I'll take 2 of those.
And they're non-rusting. So yeah,
What should I call them?
just call them Everbright Bent Bow Arrowhead. Locating arrowhead is really the important thing.
Okay.
Let me put it in chat so I don't forget it. $50 gold. Once fired. Autocasts. Locate object on itself.
And how much would like their regular arrows be at that place? You said they were 10% more.
Yeah.
Or it's-
Yeah, and those are all going to be Everbright, the non-rusting kind.
I mean, just regular arrows at this place.
They only sell their own brand there, so you could probably
Oh,
find
okay.
you could find if you want to find regular arrows, you could find it somewhere else in town.
Oh, okay. Right, but these special enchanted ones are 50, and their upgraded arrows you said were like twice the normal, right?
No, the enchanted arrowheads, the locate with the locate on them, those are 50
Yeah.
gold a piece per arrowhead.
Right.
The other
Yeah, I
ones are
bought
just
2 of
10%
those.
more than normal.
Oh, okay, got it. So I'm gonna basically trade my other arrows in at the same place that I get the sword from, and then I'm buying 100 arrows from this place.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. Nope, we lost both Foldry and Groot.
Well, Paul said he was going to get a snack, and Don said BRB.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
So we're just taking care of town business here.
well, so I was curious if there was like a potion seller in town, personally.
Not a potion shop, but as a member of the Harpers, you probably could inquire, at the tower and possibly gain access to some.
Because I have a potion of poison resistance that I don't need. And so I was looking to just get rid of that and see if I could get like 1 or 2 potions of healing instead.
Yeah, potions of healing you probably could find in a shop. Those are like some of the only things that are actually in the player's handbook, the only magic items. They're
Mhm.
50 gold each.
But the potion of poison resistance is like a 2nd level spell, so I figure that one's probably worth. Or what? I don't know what the cost is, but I think it's supposed to be somewhere around 200 or whatever. It's entirely up to you, though.
Yeah, that's
I think we should buy like one potion of healing for each of us, so we just have it on us in case.
I already do have a potion.
Yeah,
of
I do
healing.
too. But what about?
Well, so that's why I wanted to get rid of this one, and I don't
Yeah.
have any. I was gonna see if I could trade it in and get,
What
you know,
about Paul?
if that was possible.
You want to carry one?
Carry one what?
Potion of healing. We'll buy them. You and Serendio.
I don't think I would ever use one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Serendio's usually on top of the healing anyway.
Is it possible to sell the potion of poison resistance for any amount to the Harpers? Would they want it?
they would be able to take it in, yes. In terms of pricing, I have absolutely no idea because there's no economy for that.
I know, I was just trying to Google it, and 5e is so terrible about pricing of
Well,
like
again, it's
potions
not
and stuff.
something that you normally would do.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a 3E mindset. It's not like it's
Yeah.
not an economic item.
it's-
It's like a rare item that. But if it's not something you have use for it, there's also still a valid. Okay, if I'm not going to use this, it's worth something.
Yeah, I'd like to get rid of it for something, not just dump it out.
Exactly. Yeah, potions aren't generally that expensive to craft in terms of like the components to do so. Let me think on it. Remind me again.
Okay. I'm just going to take 50 gold off, and we'll figure out the getting rid of that one at another point. I'll add a potion of healing and take 50 gold off, and the rest we'll figure out at some point.
I would say just swagging it, probably you'd get maybe 150 gold for it. For
Okay.
poison resistance.
I'm willing to accept that.
Okay. That works for me too then. And again, this is not in a store. It's basically kind of a special deal you work out.
Yeah, talk to,
To
what's
Crowan.
his name?
Yeah, Crowan can arrange that.
Crowan, and see if he would take it, kind of thing. I'm sure within the Harper network, there's probably use for a potion of healing of poison
Mhm.
resistance.
Yeah, if it's not something that you
Someone
indeed
wants
want.
it.
Otherwise, if you're wanting something directly in trade, he would. Let me just see what I can find for you here.
I mean, if he has anything cool, I would be willing to.
What are you
pay
looking
for
for in
two, not
terms of
just-
functionality?
Any weapons or armor that would be.
Oh, I'm thinking like potions or scrolls or something like that.
Or, well, I'm just personally looking for potions of healing. I don't know if I need anything else, unless someone in the party has a use for some other potion. So I don't know, potion of greater healing, even if that would
Yeah,
be a similar one-for-one trade.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. They would have access to that. So sure, yeah. If you want to just do a straight up trade on that, they've got one of those around.
Okay. That's what I'll do.
Cool. All right. So anything else you wanted to take care of in town before the evening commences? Several other of the
No.
taverns. God, there's a whole bunch of taverns here now. I'm seeing
I think
Swordars.
we wanted to get some lunch and drink, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you find a.
And we know Serendio's probably hungry.
Let's
Now
see.
he's done yakking his guts out.
Yeah, well, Sorrendiel's like probably not going to join in on the drinking, but he could probably try and do some eating.
He'll have some nice unleavened bread,
Yes.
please.
Let's see. What are you guys
Put a hot
racially?
pepper paste on it.
Are you guys mostly like half elves? I know that Groot, you're an elf. I think. What about the rest of you guys?
I
Not
think
me,
Mo-
not me, baby. I'm a loud,
he's
proud
the-
Asmar.
Yeah, and Serendil's
wood
elf.
Fae, and
I'm a half elf.
Mirror, you are.
Oh, sweet.
What are you, Mirror?
I am a half
Yeah,
elf.
okay. I thought the two of you
Okay.
were okay.
But I love my half elven brethren, sister. So I'm down with the elves.
I found a
You down
trick.
with OPP?
I just bought a trinket.
What?
I don't know. I saw it in the handbook, so I bought one. And it,
It's
It-
an impulse
it's,
buy.
uh,
It's like in a little end cap at the
yeah.
end of the store.
yeah,
An end cap at the register.
Next to
Well,
Adventurers
well,
Weekly.
We were trying to leave, and Mira said, "Buy me this, buy 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 me this."
so here's what it says. I rolled a 40 on a D100. It's a gemstone that looks like a lump of coal when examined by anyone but you. And I think
Everyone
it's the
else
most
in this
beautiful
entire
thing in the
party,
world.
We all think you just bought a lump of coal.
Oh, I can just picture. Check this out, guys. Look what I got. Yeah, that's really great, Mirror. I can tell you really made a hard driving bargain on that one.
Great.
Okay, so you guys decide to go to the a place called Merklin's. No, Mykloryn's. How the hell do you pronounce this? Myklryn. Mykloryn's Sorrow. It's next to Downriver Gate. It's named for a man who drowned in the Ravin River while sailing to sea Waterdeep. His widow used his money to build this tavern. She's dead, but her 3 daughters run it now. Harpers are welcome here.
Is it
No.
midichlorians? Is that what you said?
No, M-Y,
Ah,
it's
Mitochondria?
spelled Myklryn. Yeah,
Midichlorians, Jack.
McLaurians.
Midichlorians, yes.
Midichlorian Sorrow.
Perfect.
May the force
That's
be with you.
right.
Mitochondrians. So,
nice.
the powerhouse of the South.
So you go there, and then after a while you go there, then you maybe. Oh, this is good. The next one on the list is the old sword. I can't even say it. The old, the old sword sheathed. I thought it said the old sword shithead. This tavern is like all of those heard of in wonderful fireside tales. It's a ramshackle place where everyone's a friend. The dart and dice games never stop. Elders tell tall tales and young people trade jokes. It serves a huge wine list and butternut beer. Folk in Everland say this tavern is the place to meet your mate for life. Oh, the old sword shithead. Okay.
I heard there's dice games.
Yeah,
I'm in.
and the butternut beer sounds good, but
yeah.
Yeah.
so you guys spend an evening carousing after doing your shopping. Not getting too drunk because you figure you're probably gonna get served a bunch of food later in the evening, but
Yep.
after a while you're able to just
Some appetizers.
focus on the darts.
I will be drinking.
Chips and salsa and margaritas.
So why don't we take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will commence with the dinner forthwith. So
Nice.
we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so we're back. So you guys spend the day carousing about, doing some shopping, picking up some stuff. You don't get too drunk, again, because you're planning on, keeping yourself presentable. Serendil still, since he's not here, he's still under the weather, but he's going to soldier on and, well, actually, you know what? He might sit out. He doesn't want to embarrass you guys in front of the Moon Lord by puking on our plate or something.
Yeah.
Go to bed early.
So he's gonna politely decline the invitation, but he trusts you guys to represent, so to speak, and yeah. So Crowan he comes to your chamber shortly before 7 o'clock, and he's alone except for his Tressum, of course, his entourage. and he is going to lead you to the dining hall area where the dinner is going to take place. So along the way, he mentions that, yeah, while we were talking before, you asked if I trust Fluin, and I do, but same time, I wiped his memory of the conversation as soon as we left. So if you can, maybe just like I said, you guys are offering a fresh perspective, so maybe you'll be able to glean insights that I haven't been able to in terms of, maybe catching if something's amiss. But I don't particularly suspect him, but maybe he saw something or heard something that might be of interest that he wouldn't say to me as his boss, so to speak. So in any case, I'll lead you into the dinner hall. There'll be, a brief round of drinks. The Moon Lord, she's probably going to ask you she's basically going to do a debriefing. Really, that's more for you, Samril, as a Harper agent. But she'll probably ask the rest of you some questions about where you've been, what you've seen, so on and so forth. Anyway, after that, then dinner itself will be served, and I'll be dining with you for that. Once dinner's over, though, I'm going to step out so as to possibly, maybe loosen the tongues of some of the other people there, so they can maybe feel more free to speak in your presence, and hopefully that might lead to some additional insights that otherwise they would keep under wraps with me present. Anyway, that's the plan. So I'll let you guys know when I'm leaving. You'll know I'm gonna be leaving, and at that point, go nuts.
Right.
So he leads you again through some, across multiple flights through the different towers. He leads you into another separate tower that you haven't been in yet, and then into a large dining hall, which consumes basically an entire level of one of the towers. And in the center of the room is a large table, at which are seated 3 individuals. You see Fluin there. You see what looks like another mage, acolyte, or apprentice, I should say, sitting across from him. Actually, I'll just move you guys to that map.
Flurkin and Merkin and midichlorian and
So you guys enter through the staircase, the stairwell leading into the room. So Fluin is here. You've got this other mage sitting right there. And at the head of the table is the Moon Lord, Daviana. She's sitting right there.
Uranus.
So Carlin goes in and he takes a seat at the opposite end of the table to the Moon Lord, as is the custom, and you guys are free to sit wherever you like. Yes.
Are the other 4 people in the room guards, or are they like servers?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, these 4 guys are actually, one of the guards is there is actually a bar set up over here, and he's
Oh well.
during the
Nice.
during the debriefing, so to speak, he actually is going to serve you guys drinks from behind. He'll actually bring them to the table to you because, of course, debriefing is thirsty work, so they want to make sure you're well provisioned. Samril, actually, you are kind of expected by custom to sit at the left hand of the Moon Lord, so you're actually in just the right spot, but the rest of you guys can sit
Sweet.
pretty much wherever you like.
Daviana's flowing blonde locks has caught Valdry's
Oh,
eye.
yes. And her suit of armor, too. Yeah, she's actually decked out in full regalia. She makes that quite an impressive sight.
A quick question: the Harpers and the Emerald Enclave get along? I think, right?
Yeah, for the most part, their interests align more often than not.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
They're not like enemies, or
Sure.
they would never, like a Harper would never put the interests of the Emerald Enclave above
Right.
the Harpers, but
Right. Yeah. But there's no animosity or anything
not.
either.
Baldry. Yeah. We're not going to be fighting across the table, whacking each other with drumsticks or
my
anything
understanding with the Harpers is they're a pretty neutral group, and unless your interests are opposed to theirs, then
Sure.
you're at least not enemies at
Right.
the very least.
Right. I mean, the Emerald Enclave is definitely more focused on nature and the natural world and everything like that.
Mhm.
And, the Harpers are more generalized than that.
Sure.
They're
All right. I just was wondering because I know Groot and I are both members and we wear our insignia and everything. So,
And I kind of looked into it a little bit because I was traveling with you. I was curious, and it seems like there's no reason that there would be any sort of
Right.
clash.
it's not like a Zentarum.
no.
Yeah, I think
Well, I mean,
both
Samurai.
groups are kind of aligned against the Centaur.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
more or less.
Kyle, if you feel comfortable giving a summary of your faction to the others to kind of let them know. I mean, we had kind of the experience in Golden Fields about the Emerald Enclave. That was kind of their headquarters. Now we're kind of in your home
Right.
base, so maybe you want to explain to the others a little bit about what they're all about.
Yeah, so I mean the kind of the main things about the Harpers is that they try to keep everyone to have equal power because too much power leads to corruption. So it's kind of just about controlling that no group gets too much power over any other group. So they're kind of, like I said, they're kind of a neutral faction more than anything, and making sure that all the other factions kind of are aligned in power.
Right. So if
Um,
they detected that, like, for whatever reason, the Harpers were actually, or excuse me, the Emerald Enclave were like preventing, other groups, like they were dominating all the other groups, they might do something about that.
Mhm.
But they generally, the Harpers wouldn't be, or excuse me, the Emerald Enclave wouldn't be that type of organization to do that. That's not really part of
Right,
their ethos.
right.
They're not all about
Yeah.
dominion, whereas like the Zentarum definitely, their
Right.
self-interest is pretty
Bunch
much kind of at the forefront.
Bunch of dicks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and the kind of the general overview of a Harper agent is that they're kind of a lone actor as well. They don't generally work with other Harpers unless they have to. It's kind of just have your own integrity and kind of do what you need to do. And that's why, like in whatever that town was we just came from, he was just kind of a lone Harper
Yeah,
working
right.
there.
Okay.
They're all over the place as lone agents.
Exactly. And that's why,
Got
like,
it.
when you have these meetings, it's actually fairly unusual to have a bunch of Harpers meeting like this. You guys are kind of more guests of honor, and also
Right.
at the same time,
And this is their headquarters too, though. So they would
exactly, it's a little bit unusual
a
having
group of them.
because you're at the central location, there's going to be a lot more of them than you would normally see. Usually it's
Right.
more like one
Mhm.
one person in a town would be like a Harper agent. So
Right.
Mhm.
Got it.
And they're very secretive and keep that on the sleeve kind of thing.
so in any case,
All right.
yeah,
cool.
you guys can all find your. Oh, Serendiel's not here, so I'll get rid of his token here. I'll just move him off the screen. But yes, the rest of you guys can find yourselves a seat wherever. Rilix probably will hang out with you there. The rest of the Tressum are just kind of wandering all over the room. They,
Baldry's going to make sure that his eyes sparkle a little bit extra whenever he looks at Daviana.
yeah, Daviana.
Make sure he
Yeah, she.
illuminate him a little bit.
Hey, she might like Mirror a little more, though. Who knows?
You never know. She actually greets the
Maybe
whole
she-
party.
Maybe she's into wings. You got wings? I don't think so.
Only barbecue wings. Yeah, she greets. She actually rises and stands as per kind of her custom. It was you guys enter the room, and then everyone kind of seats together. She bids you welcome and emphasizes that yes, this is not really their normal custom to greet visitors like this, but with Samuel being a Harper agent and you guys having had the experiences you have, she thinks that you can supply the Harpers with valuable information. As Kyle just explained, the Harpers are all about preserving the balance of things, the balance of power. And right now, there's a definite sense that the giants are severely disrupting that balance of power. While the giants would be what you consider to be a faction, they are a force that can work in tandem and disrupt all the other factions and all the other people, for that matter, in Faerun. So it's in everyone's interest to find out what the root cause of all this is and to try and stop, the general chaos that's resulted from all of these giant incursions. So any information you can have and can supply to the Harpers would be very valuable. And in particular, she's very interested in your experiences with not only the giants in Nightstone, although from what she understands, you guys didn't directly interact with any giants in that encounter. But when you were in Tribor, you actually did. So any kind of information you could have gleaned from that encounter would be very useful.
Also, there's a certain cloud giant that we
Yes.
spent a lot of time with that I feel would be
We
interesting information to share.
Tell her about the ordning, right?
The ordning, I've heard of
Mhm.
this. Yes, it's the caste system in which the giants naturally are ordered, as in storm giants are above cloud giants and so on. But something about that has gone awry, you say?
Yes. And who is the nice cloud giant that we rode in his castle?
Yeah, I was trying to
Zephyros?
remember
Told
his
us
name.
all about that.
Yeah.
Is it-
Harshnag?
No, Harshnag.
Is that him?
Harshnag.
Harshnag is actually the giant that the frost giant that is actually one of the
Oh, right.
Force Grey out of Waterdeep that you've been encouraged to seek him out, but nobody knows where the hell he is. He's been
Right.
Zephyros was
Oh
the
yes.
cloud giant.
Old. No, not old.
Zeph.
Zephyros.
Yes.
Zephyros. Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was it.
Yeah, Zephyros.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There he is, right there.
Cloud
Zephyros.
giant
Yep.
wizard with Sky Castle.
Yeah, we tell her about Goo, the head of the hill giants.
I've heard of the head of the hill giants being morbidly obese. I actually wasn't aware
And
her
then-
name was Goo.
Yes, it is Goo.
Weren't they hungry or starving? or
Yes, and that's
something, or
why they
something
were
about
raiding
that?
everything. They wanted food. They wanted all the food, which is why they
Yeah.
especially raiding Golden Fields all the time, right?
Correct.
Because
Yep.
they had a lot of food.
Yep, that's the impression.
They
I got.
wanted Goo wanted
Basically.
all the food basically.
Ah, yes, and she actually hadn't learned that you had fought the hill giants in Goldenfield, so that's interesting to her as well, and it lines up with what she understands of hill giants too. Is that they probably have less of a plan for world domination, more of a plan for fill my tummy now, forever.
Yeah. Well, I
Self-preservation.
mentioned the Kraken Society
Hmm,
that came to
Yeah.
visit us on the cloud with Zephyros.
interesting. The Kraken
That
Society.
they wanted an audience with him.
I wonder what for.
We never found out.
No, we did not find out why.
Because I know that there is a presence. The Kraken Society is very secretive. I mean, they make us look like amateurs in terms of how secretive they are. But from what I understand, they do have a presence in Yarder, so they're not that far away in terms of we've had some dealings with them. But what they would want with this cloud giant, are you certain this cloud giant is one to be trusted?
I say yes. I
Didn't
believe
hurt
so.
us. Didn't kill us.
He didn't
No.
kill us.
Yeah, he was
looked-
very helpful in our
Very
travels.
cordial.
So.
and seemed very interested in what we were doing, and seemed he would like to have gave us helpful information, and seemed very wanted to see us succeed in our quests.
What motivation did he have for this? Because it would seem that from what I've seen and heard, the giants would be opposed to him having the small folk, as they call us, interfering in any way in their designs.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be down with that. He didn't like the idea of seemed like he was very disturbed about the ordning being broken and the giants running amok. So he seemed like he really wanted order, the natural order restored.
Yeah, I think his thing to gain was restoring the natural order.
Yeah.
And where is this cloud
He
giant
seemed-
now?
Where did he drop us off?
Well, his castle.
Oh, that's right. His cloud
Trashed.
kind of got wrecked, so he was making repairs.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember where he was flying to.
Yeah, they were attacked by those dragons, right?
Dragons.
Yeah. That was what
Oh.
happened.
That's right.
Which dragons were these?
Mm,
Trying to remember.
I don't remember.
It's been months.
Yes, it's been
They
a
were-
while. But
they-
what you guys remember
They-
is yes, the dwarves rode in with the silver dragon,
Yes.
because they were basically under orders to attack any cloud giants that they saw, because cloud giants were
Right.
attacking everything.
Not knowing
Yeah.
that he was a friendly cloud
Cloud
giant. Yeah.
giants, yes. Yeah, and exactly. And once they got there, you kind of talked them down, so to speak. But at that point,
Right.
Yeah.
the castle was actually attacked by another dragon.
That was attacking that dragon, right, or something.
You don't actually know what happened, or why that other dragon got involved. You just know that it
Yeah.
was extremely large. I mean, the silver dragon was like, I think, a
Yes.
juvenile or a young adult dragon. Whatever
Mhm.
blue dragon attacked that castle was ancient in terms of power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So, well, I mean, we're talking like probably CR 20 plus at least in terms of
Yeah.
power level.
This Zephyros seems like he's just, I don't know. He's like a wizard that's kind of off on his own. He just does his own thing, But he, like Baldry said, he wanted the order restored.
Yeah.
So that's
And
the
I
way
said,
it
well,
should-
have you heard about the roving cloud giant castle that goes and bombards various villages around, and then takes what seems to be artifacts of interest or importance to
We've
them?
actually,
I mentioned the whole
yes, we've heard.
Nightstone and everything like that.
Yeah,
and-
she nods and says, yes, I've heard actually multiple reports of this. I don't know if it's the same castle or different castles that are doing this, or whether these cloud giants are working in concert with one another or competing with one another. It's not really sure what they're after, but the method seems to be similar in a lot of the cases, where cloud giants will bring their gigantic floating castles over some site that houses something of interest to them, and
yes, I say they look like they're looking for adamantine artifacts.
Right.
that's an interesting point. I wonder what relevance that has. She kind of looks to Crowan, and Crowan's like, I don't know. Interesting to me
Ooh.
too. Definitely a point to research on further. But you did not actually directly encounter these cloud giants when you were in Nightstone, did you?
No, we arrived shortly after that.
Right.
After they had
The aftermath.
attacked. The aftermath. Yeah.
And the object that
Yep.
they removed was the Nightstone itself, which, from what I understand,
Yes.
was some sort of an ancient artifact or something that nobody knew
Mhm.
Right.
what it was
Yes.
about.
Yep.
Very interesting.
It must have some use to them, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
So not too different, but somewhat different in terms of their methodology to the fire giants, who you did encounter in Tribor. Now, what were
Yeah.
they after?
They
Well,
kept,
they were
they
digging
dug
something
up.
up.
They dug up.
The hell
Wasn't it like a giant
like a slab or something? Or a,
slab? Yeah.
From what you guys saw, again, you were not right in their face, so to speak. You didn't want to get killed, but you were able to see what they
But
dug
as
up because
soon as they got it, they left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
'cause
soon as they got
we
what
did-
they want, they bailed.
because we didn't really have the firepower to take those 2 fire giants on.
Because they didn't actually physically remove it. You'll remember that they actually had some sort of.
Oh, it's right. They teleported out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
right.
they didn't, but they whatever they found or dug up, they touched it with this divining rod of whatever it was,
Right.
and it actually
Mhm.
disappeared. And then
Yeah.
they left as soon as that was done, having completed what
Wow.
that was the task that they were there for.
Yeah.
So they weren't there to cause mayhem as much. You know, they did cause mayhem, but mainly as a distraction so that they could perform their
Yes.
excavation.
Right.
So all those little fire starting bastards and
Yeah, the magmen and
around
yes.
around the town and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a complete force of I think it was goblins, no orcs. They had orcs and magmen, and then those ostrich creatures, which I can't remember the name of.
Yes.
But yes, they all kind of served as a basically wanton destruction, terrorization, distraction while the fire giants were busy with their excavation.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
And I mentioned about that dragon stone or whatever too that we had looked at.
Oh,
Or having it looked at. Yes, the Dragon's Eye gem.
Yep.
There it is.
the Dariana and Carwin kind of both. You can see they both like look at each other and then they look at you. This is the first we've heard of something like this. You said you had a dragon artifact.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a giant
It-
gem about the,
size of about since I said I
Football,
was the one
right?
I was the one who retrieved it. It was about this size. We had to fight through a whole bunch of undead to get it, and we left it with a trusted resource in Waterdeep, right?
Yeah.
Who was going to do some? Who is Choslog Yardhorn? Foghorn Leghorn was looking at it for us.
I say
I say.
this. don't-
I say that's the biggest thing I've ever done seen in my life.
Very interesting. So how trusted is this person that you refer to? I've never heard of him.
He's in the Emerald Enclave, right, Mirror?
Right. Didn't my father
Yes.
recommend him?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my father recommended him, who's, been in the Emerald Enclave his whole life.
And so how long ago
And we-
was this? Did you give this to him for safekeeping?
Boy,
That was a while ago. I don't know how many.
that was like
It's been
second
weeks.
8, so it's been a while.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you.
And we haven't, we keep getting more and more tasks thrown at us, and we haven't been back to Waterdeep. So once we get back to Waterdeep, that's,
He was
when
going
we're
to
going to
do
get our
res-
information.
He was going to research it and understand what its use was or powers or anything
Right.
like that. So we left it with him for safekeeping, and we kind of checked out his place. We're certain that it's safe with him.
I see. So it's not. One of the things about giants is their mortal enemies are the dragons and have been, since the ancient Asturian Empire. So
Yep.
yes, that's I find that very interesting and possibly a bit strangely coincidental. But until we learn more about it, perhaps it's not worth discussing further at this time. But it would be.
Right.
Yes, interesting to see what develops out of that research. And if you've been gone as long as you say you have, I would be surprised if some information wasn't able to come to light at this point if you were to follow up on that.
Well, if we have access to the the Harper, the teleportation network, we can get back to Waterdeep,
Right.
immediately and go and see him and find out and see what he has found out.
That might be a
Other than it taking us weeks to get
yes.
there.
that might be worth pursuing in terms of a lead.
Yep. Exactly.
In any case, I think we've gotten enough information for now. I'm sure you are parched again after this, and
Right.
certainly hungry. So let us dine, and
As I bat my light up and bat my topaz eyes at Daviana.
she steadfastly does not look at you.
Ah,
I do
Oh,
the same.
she knows. She knows.
So anyway, the guard starts bringing forth platters of food, setting them down, and it's actually a pretty good spread for you guys. I mean, you've been to some fairly decent, high quality establishments, and
Sure.
on
We're
some
not
of your
cheap
exactly.
with our food.
But this is actually pretty good for being in a tower and not being like this high class
Right.
establishment that you've been. So you're able to dine well.
so the only persons we haven't really interacted with are Daviana and this Nescafe down here on the table.
Nescafe.
Nescafe? I don't think that's right.
Nesperl, yes.
Looks like George
Nescafe.
Clooney.
Nesperl and then these guards / servants around here. So I'm just thinking back to what Crowan had said. He wants us to kind of look about it. It seems like the target pool is a little limited here, but I'm keeping my eyes and my ears open,
Okay,
examining people.
sure. If you want to make a perception check to see if you spot anything unusual.
Sure. Let's see how we
Right
do
now,
with
everyone's
this.
busy kind of stuffing their face, but
Right.
Yeah. I think while we were talking,
Oh man.
I would have been paying some attention to the other people as far as if they're doing any glancing looks or things like that. So hopefully I
apart
roll good.
from the
Pick some of
yeah,
that.
apart from the reaction over your first mention of the dragon orb, yeah, nothing really seemed like it.
Jesus, what the hell?
You're too busy stuffing
Yeah,
your face.
or no, you're
Yeah.
batting your
with
eyes at
salad
the.
greens
You're
or
making
whatnot.
googly eyes at
Yeah,
the Moon
At the
Lord.
girl.
Googly eyes.
Yeah, Valdry, you don't actually really spot any reactions from any of the people, guards or otherwise.
Okay.
Again, apart from that one instance of that
Yep.
the orb, which again,
I
you
would've
guys really
noticed
hadn't
a-
talked to anybody else about that. I mean, your deeds in Nightstone and Golden Fields and Tribor are, obviously there were a lot of people there in all those places, but yeah, you kept the orb pretty much a secret.
It was in my bag of holding,
Bag of holding,
for the longest
exactly.
time.
So yeah, you don't notice anything unusual about the reactions, but they may be, just keeping their composure too. So you don't know until maybe you interact with them later. So
Okey-doke.
anyway, the dinner concludes, after a light dessert, and then the guard starts breaking out just more general drinks. And at that, Curlin stands up and says, "Well, I want to thank you all for attending this dinner. I have duties to attend to, but in the meantime, feel free to linger and talk amongst yourselves. The Moon Lord has been gracious enough to stay as well because she would like to get to know you a little bit better. But if you need me, I will be downstairs in my chambers performing my official duties." And with that, he kind of looks meaningfully around at you guys and bows and exits the room.
Carry on, my
Carry
wayward
on.
son.
Yes. So yeah, you guys are actually, everyone kind of gets up from the table and they start
Mingle, mingle,
exactly, start
mingle.
mingling around. So
I hop up on the table and go, "Who is the infiltrator?"
You
I
just
don't-
can't hold your liquor, can you?
I'm kidding.
That's good.
And go over here. Hey, big boy.
I'm gonna go up here and perform some music for everyone.
oh, okay, you're gonna
There
actually
you
do a
go.
little song and dance routine.
Yeah.
I'll
might as well.
kind
Have
of
anything that
sl-
makes them tell the truth?
slowly gravitate, meander over to where Daviana is, and strike up a conversation, chit chat,
I'll talk with this Nescafe guy. I'll go talk with George Clooney.
Okay. And anyone gonna go talk to Flubba?
Fluin?
Yeah, Fluin,
Flurkin?
Farfagnugan.
Sure. Sure.
You want to see him, Groot? You can say you want to see me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Bullwinkle. Again. Okay, so I guess
gotta get
Samuel, are
different hat.
you performing in just like an entertainment type capacity, or are you trying to actually give like bardic inspiration to people?
I'm
Ooh.
performing in a bardic capacity, but I also would like to give inspiration to all three of them.
Okay, we're not in combat, so we don't really have to worry about round by round. But if you want to give inspiration to your three companions, bardic inspiration, you can do one of each.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I'd like
Okay.
to do.
So in any interactions or questions you guys might have, what are you up to now? Are you D8?
I think at 6th level it's a D8. Yeah, let me confirm. But that sounds
You're
right.
around that threshold level anyway. So I'll let Samuel confirm that if you guys
Yeah.
wish to do that. So
Yep, 5th level was a D8. So yep, at 6th level it's still a D8.
okay, so I guess let's quickly handle these individually then. So Groot, you've already met Fluin, but as Crowan said before, he had actually wiped his mind of his memory of that conversation. Or at least that portion of the conversation. He it's not like he recognizes you and from before, but apparently he will not have remembered him asking
that
you
part.
Yeah.
to perform this. So how did you wish to perform this?
Perform. Sorry, I must have missed something somewhere. Perform what?
I mean, how did you wish to glean any information you might have from him?
Suss
He
out and
doesn't-
see if he's the snitch.
It's okay. I can't say. Are you the snitch?
Well, no, you could. I guess that's what I'm asking. How did you?
Subtle.
Yeah, subtlety was what
Well-
Crowan had asked for, but I mean, you guys are free to do whatever you want to.
Smack him around a bit.
I don't know what to ask.
Yeah, be nice and subtle. Are you the snitch?
Have you ever heard of snitches? Do you know that snitches get stitches?
Well, again, what Crowan had told you is that from what he's heard, there have been artifacts that have gone missing and from the vaults, which normally only personnel of the tower are allowed in the vaults, and people have said things and then later have no memory of ever saying those types of things. So that's the information you've got, and then somehow Crowan has made a leap from that to thinking that there's possible infiltration, and he just wants to find out if they will open up to you anymore, or reveal any more information.
So does everybody else know about the thefts, or no, they don't know about the thefts either?
That you didn't ask him before, so you're not sure.
Okay.
You get the impression, though. You get the impression, though, that sorry, Crowan didn't want the Moon Lord to know about the breach in security, but
Okay.
it seemed like Fluin didn't seem surprised when he was talking about that, even though his mind was wiped later about that part of the conversation. He didn't act surprised that time, like, oh, even though it may have been the 10th time it was mentioned in front of him, it's not like it was a surprise to him.
Well, I guess I'll ask him. Is there anything happening within the tower, or been on the road a long time, and I'm sick of talking about giants and stuff. Anything happen around here, dude?
Buddy.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and make a persuasion check? That seems like the most.
You want to see my badger?
Yeah, I got a -1 to
Oh.
that.
Fever.
Ooh!
Wow.
Walks away from you in disgust.
He still looks like,
not talking to you.
amusingly, he still looks tired. But It may just be his permanent expression or his modus operandi.
Yeah.
But he says, no, well, come to think of it, I did see Nespril walking out of the vaults the other day with something under his arm. And, when I asked him about it, he got really pissy about it and told me to mind my own business. But I'm sure he was doing whatever he had to,
Is he allowed? Is the vaults something that everybody can go into? Or why was that odd?
Well, generally you go in for official reasons, and generally it's known, why you would be going in there for something. And I knew nothing about why he would want to go into that particular vault, and he seemed kind of snippy about it, and like he was hiding this rectangular object under his robe when he walked away. But I don't know. Maybe he was getting some porn out of there.
Have you ever been into the vaults?
I've been in a few times. I've only been an apprentice here for 2 years, so I don't have the seniority that a lot of the other mages and apprentices do. But I'm working on it, and I got to dust one of the shelves once.
Wow. So, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You haven't taken anything off the shelves yourself, have you?
No.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, what does he say? Does he look guilty? Does he,
Make an insight.
Yeah. An insight check. Not perception, are you sure?
I am quite sure. It's a
Fuck you.
Oh my god. Dude, you're killing me.
He is without a doubt.
I'm good at
He
combat.
is without a doubt guilty of something, but you damned if you know what.
Don't know what.
I'm really good at combat. I'm not good at this talking
That's
stuff.
okay.
Right.
I will just make small talk and, yeah. I'm good.
Okay,
Let's
that's
go to
cool.
the next guy.
I mean,
Oh,
you have a
still got
plus
some good
3 to
info
that.
out of them.
Yeah.
A plus 3 isn't bad. I only have a plus 2. Like, I don't know.
And that's why you're playing the instrument.
Yeah. Like, it's not like you're that bad at it. You just rolled terribly.
No harm, no foul.
I bet you if I would attack something, it would roll really well. See, look,
Yeah.
I attacked the conversation.
longbow. Look at that. Okay,
Bam.
now let's do another
He hits the conversation with a longbow.
persuasion check.
What? Look at that!
I'm telling
You bored your longbow to death.
It knows that I suck at
Your longbow
talking.
just kind of like wilts and I can't even.
Okay, yeah.
That
I
was
give up.
perfect.
Well, I guess better a roll there than in combat.
Yeah.
Um,
boy.
Okay.
Okay, Mirror. So you approach Nespril Menk, who this is the first you've met him. He seems like kind of a dour, grumpy guy. He's kind of a man of few words, but he's willing to talk to you if you like. So how did you wish to approach this with him?
Confess! Confess!
Heretic!
Burn him!
I just asked him. I'm like, well, they seem kind of surprised about all these artifacts and whatnot. I mean, is that not something that they're used to around here?
We get lots of artifacts here, actually.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that from dealing with Samrel and whatnot. He seems like, oh, we should get this to the Harpers and whatever. So I don't know. What do you think about all we discussed tonight?
In what particular part of what we discussed?
I don't know. What's your take on what the giants might be doing. You seemed kind of quiet during the conversation there. Letting what is it, the moon?
Moon Lord.
Yeah, Moon Lord, and in what's his name, talk.
Why don't you go ahead and make a persuasion check, see how open he is to discussing his innermost feelings.
This is not my forte.
Again, you got a bardic inspiration. Well,
Oh,
Well,
oof.
I'll use my inspiration.
okay, you can use your inspiration. Are you just going to use your inspiration, or are you going to also apply the bardic inspiration?
Yeah, what the heck? I'll roll a d8 here.
Okay.
19.
So 19 then total. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he kind of moves you over a little bit further away from the guard that you're talking next to a
Yeah.
little bit.
All right, we'll go over there.
Wait, where did you go?
Up this way.
I don't see you anymore. Where's your token?
Where'd you go,
Right here.
dude?
Right there.
Can anyone else see his
You
token?
can't see my. Can
Yeah.
you see my click?
Yeah, he's right
See
by the
the-
rug.
Yeah, I can see his
Oh,
token.
there he is. That
Yeah.
was weird. Your token just totally disappeared. I could see
Me-
you pinging, but it's like your token just completely disappeared off the map for me for a minute there. Sorry.
Wow.
It's like, where did he go? I'm the DM. I should have control over it gets removed from. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, yeah, he kind of follows you over there.
How dare you take my control?
You just shattered my whole self-image. Yeah, he kind of leads you aside, off away from the other guards and everything, and the other people. He says, "Well, honestly, yeah, I've been when you talked about the dragon orb, that's very interesting, because I noticed that some of the artifacts in the vault had actually gone missing, and some of them were draconic in nature. So I found that very interesting. And I'm assuming when you guys talked to them earlier, you had described, you found this buried beneath an old abandoned dwarven village, and that it had been there for
Yes.
Right.
centuries. So he gets that. Yeah, you guys didn't steal the draconic artifact that you're talking about from the Harpers or anything. But he does find it very interesting how the coincidence, or some draconic
So,
items went missing, and you guys found a draconic artifact too. And he actually,
so how
He-
I asked him, well, how do you know what's gone missing?
well, we run a pretty tight ship here. Generally, all of the artifacts that we keep are inventoried.
Yeah, but isn't there quite limited access? I mean, how high up in the Harpers are you?
I've been an apprentice here for 10 years.
But still an apprentice?
I'm not management material, we'll say that.
Ah, yes, there's something to be said about management, that's for sure.
He actually kind of nods knowingly and says, what actually normally I am allowed access to the vault, but recently I did a little bit of extracurricular exploration and took out a tome to study on my own initiative concerning draconic abilities, because it's my suspicion that there is some dragon out there who is doing something to fight these giants, or wants to do something to fight these giants. And the story you told about the cloud giant's castle that you were in being attacked by a dragon, or dragons
Yep.
in plural, definitely seems to also tie into that. So I think there's something going on.
Yeah. I was told also that they could be an ally. So that kind of aligns with what you're saying.
Well, dragon is a tricky beast to ally with. You can never be sure of their true intentions or.
Right. We've also been warned about that. So I think there's, this is a very big stage right now. And so I don't know what are you gleaning from your research?
Well, so far, from what I could tell in my research, dragons have many abilities that might allow them, powerful one enough anyway, to access or breach Moongleam Tower and possibly even access the vaults, which have many magical protections. But many dragons have many magical abilities, and if the dragon was powerful enough, they certainly could get past our defenses.
Do you suspect anybody inside on removing these items?
Make another persuasion check.
This better be good. You're out of inspiration now.
Oh,
Damn.
Oh.
he says,
Oops.
I don't have any leads that would lead me to suspect someone on the inside is doing something. The worst I can say is that I caught Fluin sleeping one night when he was on watch and told him if he ever got caught, I'd report him to Crowan. So possibly something might have happened due to his incompetence, but I wouldn't necessarily suspect him of anything other than that.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like the very attentive type.
No. Prime management material, in my words.
Right. I'm going to get me another drink.
Sounds good. And he wanders off. Okay, so Valdry, you salaciously sidle up to the
Not salaciously. Come on. I am lawful good. There's not a salacious bone in my body.
Okay, you
Yeah, but you have ill intentions.
I'll strike you down for that.
you
Vile
chivalrously
slant.
sidle
Yeah,
up
chivalrously.
to the not the Morning Lord, the Moon Lord, and
Morning.
greet her. And how did you wish to approach this delicate conversation?
I say you have a I'm
You have a beautiful smile.
Yeah, you can't even talk. Come on.
I said you have a great
stammering.
great responsibility here, my lady, and how did you come to this position, and how long have you been, or just asking about her background and things like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, she recounts again what Crowan had said, that she was made Moon Lord fairly recently, only several years ago. That she took over for the Earl Round, whatever his name was, the previous Moon Lord. And since then, she's basically made it her philosophy is that everything should be ordered. She felt that there was possibly a bit too much chaos, so to speak. I mean, she felt that everyone was kind of doing their own thing, and that led to lack of cohesion in the Harper's approach in terms of systematically keeping a balance. I mean, she's neutral pretty much in alignment, but at the same time, she may have some lawful tendencies. In terms of she likes things to be a little bit more structured. That's the impression that you get. So anyway, that's been you get the idea that that's been kind of her style of management. It's kind of more hands-on, more proactive, and more structured than the way things were.
So then I say, well, do you see that kind of lack of a common purpose or standard way of doing things kind of applied to what's going on here in the tower and the keep, that sort of thing?
Um, in what way do you mean?
Well, just that things are things that are as they should be. No strange things going on, or people going off and doing their own things and causing issues or problems for you that you have to then deal with.
Make a persuasion check.
Okie dokie. Hopefully, I don't roll like Groot.
Or me.
Whoa!
Finally,
go.
somebody does it
Well,
right.
Right.
Vulcan
Do you wanna
mind
add
meld.
Yeah. She wants to bury your children. No, she okay.
All that eye batting work.
She kind of starts to answer, just kind of like, you could tell she's like going to answer like a standard reply. This is what I tell all the people that come and have dinner.
Sure.
But she kind of catches your eye, and she kind of gets the idea that, hey, maybe you know something, or might have some information, or you are maybe acting in the best interests of the Harpers, or at least that's kind of the impression you get. So she says that she feels that while things have improved since she took over, she feels that Crowan has been spending a little bit too much time worrying about the giant problem and not enough time focusing on internal security. And she believes that discipline among the apprentices has suffered as a result of that.
Interesting.
Um,
Have there been any incidents of concern or anything that's specifically that's happened that I or my companions may be able to help you with?
she says, well, I don't think
Discreetly?
Crowan knows that I know this, but I am aware that items have gone missing from the vaults. And I know that he knows. I know that he knows, but he doesn't want to tell me because he is fearful of how I might react to that information. And he's right to be fearful of it, but at the same time, I understand that he is also in the best position to possibly remedy it. So I have taken a hands-off approach in that respect. However, I have begun to question whether that is the right approach, because these items are still missing, and so far no one has determined where they have gone or who took them.
So I say, so you have no suspicions or even a hint of a lead of who you might think who would know that these things are here specifically in this Harper keep and would want to come and get them?
No. Well, the contents of our inventory, of course, held in utmost secrecy. That's not something that we would share.
Absolutely.
There, of course, are many rumors outside
Certainly.
about the vast treasures beneath Moon Gleam Tower. But you'll find that in any sort of structure like this, where there's a secretive society that has a stronghold that is heavily guarded and protected with magics.
Mhm.
As far as the items that are particularly missing, and if they were deliberately targeted, I would suspect so. Someone would have to be reasonably intelligent to be able to bypass the security that we have in place. So I would not think that they would do that on a whim and just grab items at random and bolt. But unfortunately, I do not have any more information that would lead to a specific culprit or suspect in who might have been involved in this.
I see. Well, my companions and I will We will keep our eyes and our ears open to see if we can discern anything to assist in either providing information or recovering your missing items.
I very much appreciate your help in this endeavor. And I would also ask not to speak to Crowan about what I've just told you. As I said, I do not wish ill will upon him. Well, maybe I wish he'd get rid of all these damn cats because I'm always cleaning the tresem hair off of my armor. But other than that, I feel that he needs to either succeed or fail at this without my input. And that is what I will use to judge what comes after.
I completely understand, and we will abide by your wishes.
Well, thank you for your interest, and I wish to apologize if I mistook any of your earlier attempts at conversation in the wrong way. You seem like a perfectly intelligent gentleman, and I appreciate it. So, yeah, so that's like the three main people. Are you guys going to talk to any of the guards at all?
Was she human?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
I guess I wanted to ask someone how many apprentices there are, like how
Yeah.
many people there are in this building.
Facility. Yeah.
I don't know if Daviana would be the right person to ask. I'd probably ask her, I guess.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be untoward or anything. Generally, I mean, there's actually, because Harpers are often out on different assignments, usually there's between 5 and 15 apprentices. But there's also a fairly strong garrison of guards too.
Yeah.
Is there a reason only two apprentices joined us? Are there others here, or is it just those two?
There are other apprentices that generally are here. They're not. Crowan was the one that invited these two because they're the ones that report directly to him. The other apprentices, you could say, are further down, maybe on the food chain, so to speak.
Mm.
Who do they report to then? Like, do they report to these apprentices, or how's the structure? I know as a Harper, I usually work alone, so it's just kind of weird.
Yes, things are a little bit more ordered here. As I said, it's there's a lot of rotation that goes on too. These two are essentially permanently here all the time because they work directly with Crowan. They're essentially permanent staff, which is unusual. The other mages rotate in and out depending on their assignments and specific tasks.
Okay.
So while they do report directly to Crowan, they, as I said, are not. They wouldn't consider this their home base of operations necessarily.
Are the guards considered Harpers? Are they respected as Harper members, or?
The guards are members of the Harper organization, yes. We would not necessarily trust our security to those who would not be willing to, well, in effect, die for our security. And no one would be
fair enough.
No one would be likely to volunteer. Well, not to volunteer. We do pay them. They are paid, and obviously they are garrisoned here, and they are independent of the Everland's own guard and watch.
It's very interesting. It's not like this in any other location I've been to with Harpers.
No, this, as the headquarters of the Harpers, we do have to maintain somewhat of more of a continuity. The location, obviously, of Moongleam Tower is not a secret. Everyone knows that we're here, so it seems to make little sense.
Pretty easy to tell from the outside that it's a giant tower.
Well, and more importantly, they know that we're here, and this is what we call the home base of our organization. But so there'd be little point in trying to maintain only a skeleton crew here, especially since we do need a place to keep valuables and maintain a base of operations and coordinate all of the various all the various agents of the faction that are spread throughout the realms. So
Breathing hard.
yeah, so apart from that, yeah, it is unusual, but it kind of makes sense for, like I said, for the headquarters to be organized in this way. And again, even for that, it's the ratio of guards to actual mages or Harper, agents, if you want to call them, versus permanently stationed guards is easily 10 to 1. Most of the people
Okay.
here
Yeah,
are basically guarding Moonglade Tower itself. But again, people do come here.
There's 4 in here, and we're guests.
It's more of a hub. It's more of a hub than anything. A lot of people, agents moving in and out, communications being coordinated between all the different agents, people being dispatched or changed assignments, that sort of a thing. And people bringing in magic items for study. I mean, there are a lot of wizards here, so it's also, there's a lot of magical study that's done here as well. And for that, a lot of the time you need facilities that may not be available out in the field either.
Is that you breathing, Don? In your
Maybe.
Mic? In your mic?
All right, I will stop breathing.
He's really checking out Daviana over there. He
Yeah. Still breathing
She's-
heavy.
Breathing
She
heavy
spoke
behind
to
her.
me.
Stunning.
So while you guys are having this conversation, why don't you guys make perception checks?
Am I still gonna be on a roll?
Not
I'm
me.
supposed to be good at these guys.
Haha. 3 of us rolled pretty well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, actually everyone but Groot.
You do still have your D8, Groot, and
Yeah, use it.
Oh, sure.
If you want to use it, you can. Okay.
Nice.
there you got an
Wow.
18
All
as
right.
well.
So Groot, all of
Yay.
you notice, even as you're talking to the people in the room, something a little bit unusual, that when Crowan left, most of the Tressum went with him, but 2 did not. And now you guys are kind of wrapping up your conversations. You notice that they actually come together and start walking towards the door, like almost in unison.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's odd.
Don't even have to say anything, Paul. Just
Step in
move.
front of him.
Okay, you step in front of them and they stop and kind of look up at you like with the typical cat. Okay, human, what do you want?
What the fuck?
What the fuck are you doing? Get out of my.
I
out of
bend
my
down
way.
and pet one.
Okay. You pet it. It doesn't like shy away from you.
Kitty.
It doesn't shy away from you,
I
but
say-
it doesn't like arch its back or like rub against your legs or do anything. It just seems like, okay, I'll suffer you petting me now.
Let's see here.
Hmm.
Spells do I have? Nothing useful to talk to the stupid Tressum. That sucks. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. Let 'em
I go
back.
by relics and I say, "Can you follow them?"
Okay, yeah, I think Relic's can understand.
Well, if they understand common or not, but
Actually,
I point it because they're facing him right now. They're facing Groot, so I kind of point, and I'm like,
yes, Tressum do understand common. So, yep,
Okay.
Relix can understand you. So he, or she, excuse me, heads over under the table towards them.
Yeah, there you go.
Oop, oh, okay. We were fighting over him.
Yeah, oh, that's okay. Take it.
So she heads over the table towards them. And let me see. Okay. Yeah. As she approaches, yes, actually, that's exactly what happens. One of them turns around and goes at Rilix, and Rilix like, whoop, kind of tumbles backwards, does like a head over heels, like she was like not afraid, but like so surprised at that reaction. It does
Yeah.
not seem like that is what she would have expected at all.
Right.
They say, "Walk up! Whoa! Back off! Back off! That's our friend."
Yeah, I mean, I would be pretty startled by that too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? Leave
What's
her
wrong
alone.
with you?
Yeah.
Leave Relix alone.
I'll move like over here.
Okay, the cats like, or the Tressum look at each other, and at the same moment, they attempt to bolt around Groot.
Groot.
And I think,
I try and grab
okay,
one.
let's
Yeah.
actually, I'm going to call for an initiative roll here.
Roll for initiative. Yeah. Here's the combat for the night. We gotta wrangle a couple of cats.
Oh, fucking A.
I love it.
How do I roll so terribly every time?
Yeah.
Uh,
No kidding.
Let's see.
My
We
initiative.
rolled the same, Dave.
My
We
initiative.
both
Yeah.
got twos.
That's a
I
sucky
cannot-
initiative.
You rolled an 11. I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
here we go. Found it.
I have a +5, and you still kicked my ass.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I got to roll for both. Even worse. Okay, so they got for their initiative. Let's see.
Mirror, you didn't click your token because you're not in the initiative order.
Oh darn. I'll roll again, but I'll change it. Yeah, 23. There we go.
Yeah, nope, that's what you got.
No, that's the official one. That was for Rilix, the other one. Yeah.
What did you get? Is it? I mean, I'm sorry. I was.
No,
Well, you rolled a
I had
Oh,
a
okay.
5.
Then
You can.
you re-rolled it to get it in the
That's
order. Got a 23.
Okay, so let me quick sort. Descending. Okay, so actually, Groot, you are.
Oh, did they actually roll
Yeah.
that terribly?
Holy crap.
Wow.
Okay, let's see here.
They tried to bolt, but they couldn't get any grip on the floor, or what?
It's a tile floor, so it's like super smooth, and they didn't try to fly past him. Otherwise,
So what I'm assuming that if I try to grab him, I would still get my proficiency bonus, right?
it basically would be kind of like grappling. That's.
So is that Dex or Strength?
I believe that's strength based. It's basically an attack roll
Well.
to.
But to get a cat, you gotta be quick like a ninja.
I feel like Dex would be more useful to grab a cat, but
Yeah, no doubt.
strength-
and not get clawed to
Yeah.
death.
It's the DM's decision.
Yep.
It's actually
No,
a
for sure.
5th
I'm
edition's
just
decision.
kind of wondering if, maybe he's behind all of this shit. And
Rilix?
these are, like, spies of his.
So basically, you make an attack action to make a special melee attack, a grapple.
You rolled a 1.
Oh,
I thought you were good at combat,
dear.
Paul.
Well, if I were to roll what was in my sheet, it would work. But it's because I rolled something special. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then.
Whiff. Swing and a
Okay,
miss.
so you attempt to grab it. So,
And I
yeah,
fail.
but it's not its turn yet, so it still hasn't gotten past you. Valdry, you can move too, Groot, if you want to.
Actually, as a bonus
Though if it
action,
does want to attack you, it would get an opportunity attack if you wanted to move away.
Well, actually, I guess.
I mean, Cat.
I'm gonna see if he attacks me, and I'm gonna move to here and see if he is that the door out, right? Is that the way out?
Yeah, I think so.
That's one of the ways out. There's an up and a down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I'll go there, and I'm gonna see if he attacks, and then I'm gonna do something different.
Okay, so as you dodge away, it actually does swipe at you.
Sweet.
What is your AC?
16.
Okay. Yeah. It moves so quickly and so unexpectedly, and it actually hits you.
Cool.
With not its claws, but almost like it punches you.
Yeah.
Punch
Sure,
my fucking
right.
ass.
Detroit, stop me!
Right.
Ninja cat.
Hang on.
Jesus. That is a lot of dice.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think I heard 8 dice.
You take 19 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jesus
Jesus.
Christ!
Those
Why
are not
doesn't
normal
Rolex do
cats.
this?
What the hell?
And you were actually kind of staggered
Alright.
backwards a little bit by the strength behind this attack.
Well, then, as a bonus action,
That's not a Tressum.
I'm gonna turn into a snake.
Yeah!
Christ.
Okay, I'll move your token off to the side, your other token. Okay, you got him.
Do it.
Okay, so you become a snake, and you've effectively kind of blocked the doorway, really. It would have to move through you to get out.
Right.
Yep.
Voldry, you're up. So you see this cat basically punch Groot across the room.
That is so unfair.
You chose to run away. What do you mean unfair?
Here I was thinking it was going to be like a 1d4, right? I mean, it's a tiny cat. It's a tiny cat.
Man,
Is it-
I was like,
is it-
man,
is-
Groot, that cat kicked your ass.
Is it like
Did it,
Bruce,
like,
Lee,
fly
Bruce
up
Lee
and
and his
bop
1-inch
him, or
punch?
what?
It's a Bruce Lee 1-inch punch. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Holy crap. Ooh. So I see this going on. I see the one that just kicked Groot's ass, and I am going to cast command on it. Since
Ooh,
it can
nice.
understand common, and I'm going to say hold.
Okay, can you put that in the chat again? So I can.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a saving throw, like wisdom involved, probably. So
Yeah,
word of
DC
command, a
14.
wisdom saving throw. It looks like DC 14 whiz save. He missed it by 2. And you say hold. Okay, so basically it
Yes.
follows the command on its next turn. It's no effect if it doesn't understand language, if your command directly harmful. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would definitely rule that as a valid command. So it, which one were you
Nice.
commanding?
The one that kicked Groot's
Okay,
ass.
so that one. All right. I'm just going to put a little green. Actually, red would be more appropriate, as in stop.
I'm probably never going to live this time.
No, you're not.
Samuel, you're up.
Oh my
Alright.
god, that is hysterical.
I'm going to.
Toons just kicked your ass, man.
Just kick your ass.
I know. I'm like still shocked. by how much it did. I'm going to cast hypnotic pattern.
Ah, okay.
I think. What does this one do? Man, there's too much reading to that spell. I'm not gonna use that one. I have to spell slow, and it's so long. Holy cow! There's too much going on with that spell. So I'm gonna cast Hypnotic Pattern
Okay.
on those two.
So it's concentration. It's failed. Wisdom
It's
save.
also probably gonna hit Relix.
Oh, it's an area effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 30-foot crube. 30-foot.
But I can cast it where it'll hit Relix and those two, but no one else. I think. I can't tell how big this room
You
is.
should be able to draw.
Exactly.
A crube. It's a crube.
So
Rube.
30 feet would go like out to here, and to avoid mirror, you would not be able to avoid. You did.
I guess I would. I'd probably hit Nespril, right, and just kind of cast it over. 30 feet.
Yeah, if you didn't mind hitting a guard,
That way
then 30 feet that way.
and like down this direction. So I'd hit
barely, you'd peg Nespril.
kind of in this area. Kind of. That's a terrible.
That is pretty. That is not
drawing,
a cube.
but-
In most geometries that I've ever worked in. That's fine though. It gets the impression across. So
Oh, I can draw a shape actually. Ah,
yeah, you can draw a
There.
square.
like that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
No.
Where so
Now we got cubes everywhere. Okay, so wow. All right, so
I wouldn't actually hit that guard, but
no, it's just Nespril.
yeah, and Relix.
All right, so wow, just horrible saves.
It's a cat, and this is a laser pointer.
That's it.
My character in Paul's
Brilliant, it's a
campaign,
twisting
in
pattern.
Paul's campaign, I played I can't not a him, but what the hell was the name of the race?
Or the cat people.
A tabaxi.
Cat people.
Tabaxi,
And
yeah.
one of the things is I had a crystal that actually projected a little red light on the wall that I would play with. So
No kidding.
so he failed his save. Let me roll the other one. They both actually failed their save.
Did I roll a d20 for Relix?
Yes, roll for Relix. I will roll for
That guard.
Nespril. Nespril made his save. Oh yeah, and Relix did too.
Wow.
So it's basically
So it only affected the
incapacitated.
people I wanted to.
Yeah, so basically, as long as you're concentrating, they are incapacitated and unable to move.
Aha!
That's actually pretty damn powerful.
We could tie him up.
I'm telling everyone they're incapacitated. Do not hit them.
How long does it
Up to a
last?
minute.
Up to a minute.
Oh, damn. I can't go get him in a minute, I don't think.
Probably not. But we can tie them up.
So, Samuel, any movement? If not,
Little
it's
lit-
Mirror's turn.
Little.
I mean,
little-
I'll move forward a little bit, but I'm not gonna get
Little
right
keep-
up on top of them.
Who's got the little kitty handcuffs?
I asked. All right, it's my
Yes.
turn. I tell this guard to, what's his name again?
Crowan.
Crowan, to
Go get him
get Crowan up here.
Okay. All right.
with all
Yeah,
haste.
the guard looks at
Yeah.
the Moon Lord, and Daviana nods, and he goes bolting down the stairs to go get Crowan.
You know,
That you could
that's it for
that
me.
well, okay, you could do something else that you could just shout that out and actually
Okay.
do something.
So as this is all
Should
going
we
on,
restrain these?
Restrain them, yeah.
I relate to Daviano why this whole thing started. That we noticed that the three left with him when he left, but then these two have been kind of hanging out, and then all of a sudden, I said to me, it almost seems like they're his eyes and ears or something like that right now.
Yeah. I have rope, so I mean,
If you want to,
Or do we just let him get? Do we just let Groot curl him up in his coils?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
smack
I'll-
me for 19 points, huh? How you like that?
I think if you do damage, you wake them up, right?
If you do damage, they wake
yeah.
up. I
Oh,
would
sure.
tie them up.
You could stick them in a bedroll and right,
Yeah.
and then tie
Yeah.
it like a sack.
I got
Yeah,
that.
Okay, so you want to
Okay.
take an action to get your bedroll out of your pack. That could be your action.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
like that.
they're stuck for a minute, so you have
Right.
time, like multiple rounds.
Right.
As long as
Yeah.
no one hits them.
Well, if you wanna go round by round, we can. Yeah, but that's what we want to try.
Okay, so you want to take. You have a bedroll out. You're gonna take the bedroll out, eat both of the tressum into the one bedroll, or are you putting them in separate bedrolls, or how are you?
We'll do it together, I
Okay,
guess.
so you're gonna take your
They're
bedroll out.
incapacitated.
I'm trying to figure out how much time this will take out of the spell duration. You're gonna
Right.
take your bedroll out, put one of the tressum in, put the other tressum in,
Yep.
then tie a knot securing the end of the bedroll.
Well, two people could do
Right.
it. Like Baldry could do it as well, so one in each bedroll.
And I mean,
I
we don't
think.
want to hurt them or anything like that. You know, we'll be kind and whatnot, but we want to secure them.
Groot might want to punch him once or twice once they're secured in the bedroll. Just saying.
Well,
Not yet.
The duration. So while the pattern is only there for a moment, it basically lasts. The effect lasts as long as you concentrate.
Yeah.
It's a pretty damn powerful spell because
appears
most of these like this, especially it's level 3, I guess, but it doesn't offer them an additional save or anything like that. So
Yeah, it's just if they take damage or if someone else shakes them.
yeah, that's the thing. Stuffing them in a bedroll so that without treating that as effectively shaking them.
That's the question.
I
yeah.
would
right.
say
How about
if
just tying them with rope then?
It's the same
I would
thing,
say
right?
you could try to do that, you would need to make a dexterity check to do so.
Okay.
One for
I'll
each.
do that.
Well, one at a
Yep.
time if you're doing them
Right.
both.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right. So one, you managed to get one. Are you going to put them in the sack or are you going to tie them up?
We'll do the sack.
Okay. So you managed to successfully get one of the tressum into the bedroll without disrupting it.
Because
But
at
remember,
this point, my
one
my
has also
thought is
got the
these
hold
might
command
not.
on it. So even if the hypnotic thing is broken, it's still held.
Right. I mean, my thought is these might not even be tressum at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
they
agree.
are.
Yeah, we
It
don't
could
know.
be an illusion.
Yep.
All right.
Or
So second one.
Shape shifted.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So you're able to get
Holy
both of
cow.
them in there without actually disrupting the hypnotic pattern. So then you spend another round tying it off. And that's
3 rounds.
Yep. So Daviana says that Crowan's chamber is more than a minute away, even with the guard running there and running back.
That's okay. They're secured now.
Okay, so you're good. Kyle, are you going to maintain the concentration for the full?
I'm gonna maintain it for the full minute either
Okay.
way.
Right.
Okay, so you do that, and the rest of you guys are just chilling for the moment. Your command spell, Valdry, only is 1 round.
Yes.
So they
Yep.
aren't petrified. So after a minute, there you see there's shuffling movements.
Shuffling in there.
Yeah, within the sack. Then there's more vigorous shuffling movements, and
Uh-oh.
you hear like,
Yep.
"Row, row,
They're
row,"
obviously gonna try to get out. Yeah.
and the bedroll starts to expand.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
It expands, and it expands, and after a moment, hang on the wrong layer here. The bedrolls explode in all directions. The bedroll, I should say.
Knew it.
And where the bedroll used to be, you see 2 cloud
Dragon.
giants.
Holy
fuck!
And that's where I'm going to end tonight's
And
session.
Paul died.
Holy crap!
God.
Oh my God. I can't believe you got them with a hypnotic pattern.
Both of them too.
And then he said, I'm going to put them in
Sweet.
the bedroll. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Oh, okay.
run
So
away.
yes,
I
this
wanna run away
obviously
now.
we're not going to engage this combat now, but this will be a perfect cliffhanger for next session. So we will pick
Holy
up then, and we will see how you guys fare against your first one on,
Wait.
well, 2 on you against the Cloud Giants.
I don't think, as a cloud giant, I don't think this is going to go well.
I
That's
don't
my
think so
opinion.
either.
At a 6th level, this is not going to go well at all.
Yeah, but we got Daviana and we have a mage coming
We
back.
got
Flow
hypnotic pattern again.
Yeah, that's right.
They failed it once. So that,
Astral.
you guys use that against the Fire Giants too, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
That's actually
I have
remarkably
slow
effective.
as well.
So,
That one is the one I was thinking
Oh.
about using next, actually.
cool. All right.
All
Well, thanks
right.
a lot, guys. We'll catch you next time, and we'll see how
Right.
it goes. So
Yep.
have a good one. Thanks
See ya.
again.
Hopefully,
Thanks, guys.
Serendial isn't.
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah, right?
He's
We could use
yeah. I'll
Serendia.
have to have him.
Yes.
Maybe Crowan will have. Hey, your buddies are in trouble with some cats. Come on, we need your help. All right, cool. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks again.
Yeah. See ya.
All
See
right.
ya.
Guys.
Good one, guys.